Hey, it's John. Welcome to the Soda Society podcast, where we discuss a new movie every week. Check our episode description for next week's movie and soda and all our social links. Spoilers ahead. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Soda Society. I'm John Kim. I'm here with Jared Lindsay.
Hey.
Aaron Miller.
Hey.
And this week's special guest, my good friend, Daniel Sanchez.
Hey.
Oh, this is wonderful, wonderful times. We're Soda Society. We're a weekly movie club where we're just talking about movies and drinking some soda. And this week's movie and soda is Nick and Norah's Infinite Playlist, and the soda of this week is RC Cola.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Retro label, too.
Retro label.
This is going to be good.
Our-
Ooh,
yeah.
John, can you do the honors of cracking this bad boy open?
It is cracked open, but...
It's open?
Ooh.
It's nice.
Yeah, let me take the first sip.
Please do.
Sip. Oh,
The icy gloss right there.
it's
yeah.
icy right now. Like, we've had warm soda for the past, 3 weeks.
Warm soda? Why?
We did. It's been room temperature because we're the worst.
Why not
Oh,
pour it
try
back?
this. It's so good.
Yes? All right.
RC Cola is seriously amazing. It might be, my favorite kind of cola, actually. What's... Your
That's
thoughts?
amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Aaron.
Can you describe the difference between RC Cola and other colas? I'm
There's
not
something
very good at it.
there's something a little more candy-ish about this one that's really pure. It tastes like you're eating a Haribo gummy bear, like the gummy soda cola kind of thing.
It feels like the quintessential slushy for a movie.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like for me.
Oh, that's Amazon. Oh, joining us is also the dog Cheese. Cheese. Ooh, Cheese. Ooh.
She's a
It's okay,
sweetie pie.
Cheese. She's a sweetie pie.
She's going to be on the table for
little
most
annoying, but it's
of
okay.
the podcast.
Okay. Put that on the cloth, please. Sorry.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. Okay. So Daniel, I guess this is a question for everyone, but what have you guys been watching this week? Whether it's TV shows, movies, or any important YouTube clips or anything. What have you guys been watching this week? Any good Twitch streams?
I feel like Aaron should start us off based off
Yeah.
of his laugh.
I
So I
agree.
haven't watched any movies aside from Nick and Norah's this week. I've been watching The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Oh, yeah?
wow.
How
The
is
new-
it?
It's,
What is that?
It's like a Riverdale. You know how it's like an edgy
Version.
version of Archie? This is the same thing for Sabrina,
Sabrina
the Teenage Witch.
Is it good?
It's not bad. It's fun. I'll say that. It's a good, the atmosphere is pretty good. And, the movie...
Is your girlfriend making you watch it?
Sort of. I wanted to watch
Sort
it
of.
too. She told me about it, and I was like, "Oh, this looks fun."
Was Riverdale good? Did you see
I didn't
that?
watch
Oh,
Riverdale.
yeah, Riverdale
But-
is...
But it's fun.
Okay.
The acting's not fantastic, but it's it's silly and it's not bad.
Yeah. For sure.
But more importantly, I found these. I always watch 90 Day Fiancé clips on YouTube. That's a show on TLC where they do K1 visas for foreigners. And it's someone goes up to another country, meets somebody,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
and
they want
then
to
they get
K1
married.
visa them into America.
Yeah.
So you have to be married within 90 days in order for that to work. But there's always these couples that just are clearly not going to work out.
Yeah.
So there's lots of drama and stuff. It's a lot of fun to watch.
That's
I've been watching.
horrible.
I used to watch that months ago, and that was my shit. That was it's the
What?
worst. These are sometimes these couples are just hilariously bad. One's a clear gold digger, or
Yeah, yeah.
this
Wow.
dude is just there's just something wrong with half the dudes on the show, or
Yeah.
there's this
I feel
old.
like that's most guys on TLC.
There's
Oh,
a
yes,
40 or
TLC.
50-year-old guy dating an 18-year-old Filipino or Thai girl, and that dude is so creepy. Yeah, total creep. It's oh gosh,
I don't
it's
like
it's
that.
great. It's a great thing to watch on YouTube.
It's great.
I swear.
But aside from that,
Oh my
TLC
gosh.
also had this other show called Love at First Kiss. And what they would do is they would just put two people in a room and they would kiss.
Oh, I know exactly what
And if
clip you're
they-
talking
This is
about.
based off of a viral video or something.
Probably.
I think
and if
it
the
is.
kiss is good, they go on a 2-minute speed date.
Yeah.
And after that, they can go on regular dates. But there's like this one clip of this guy who's 27. He's never been.
He's
kissed.
never been kissed before, right?
And he's like,
he's like
working
super
himself
excited.
Up,
Yeah.
And then he goes in, and he literally just stands there like completely stiff. He doesn't move his lips at all. And then the girl has to like do all the work. And she's just like, it's not good.
I've seen that clip.
And then he comes back for another clip. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, I'm gonna do better this time. And he goes up to the girl. There's a new girl this time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, can I give you a kiss? And she's like, yeah. And then he leans in, gives her a kiss on the cheek, the weirdest hug, and then just leaves.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was like, I think afterwards he's just like, I feel like I could have done better.
Yeah.
Poor
Oh my
guy.
gosh.
That's tough.
Oh no.
That's tough. That's my future right there.
know.
All right.
So that's hard to watch.
Yeah.
It's
Daniel, what have you been watching?
Well, yeah, I haven't seen any movies either,
Mm-hmm.
other than Nick and Norah. But I mean, I recently finished The Crown. It's a really weird show to be watching. I feel like.
That's that's the English one, right?
yeah.
And I think it's
BBC.
actually really good.
Is
That's
it-
what I think. Huh?
Isn't Jenna Coleman in that show? I'm pretty sure.
Probably. I don't know. Actually, I never really kept.
Or is it
tabs
Olivia
on-
Colman?
I'm gonna look it up.
Oh, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
Olivia Colman's gonna come to the show in the third season, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong though.
Who have you been watching The Crown with, or is it just by yourself?
With my dad.
Oh,
Oh
that's
my
always
gosh!
nice.
I've also been seeing like other mundane shows like Dancing with the Stars.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been seeing that, and that's been pretty
That's
fun.
pretty fun.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
fun. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, nothing too crazy.
Yeah, Jenna Coleman, right? Her.
I think she's gonna come to the show. I don't think. Yeah, she's not in the first 2 seasons.
Okay.
I think.
She's so pretty.
Very nice. Very nice. Jared, what have you been watching?
Well, like everybody else, aside from Nick and Norah, I haven't really had much time to watch anything this week. I have been keeping up with this like YouTube sensation. I don't even know if I want to call it that. It's an ARG,
Oh,
which is an alternate reality game. So it's in the vein of like the videos kind of interact with the audience, and it's kind of like you're trying to figure out the mystery. It's this really weird show called Petscop. It's based off of a Let's Play. Like, it's supposed to be a Let's Play, but it's a Let's Play of a game called Petscop that doesn't exist. And the game itself is just really, really weird. And on Halloween, they uploaded a brand new video. And it's like this really, really crazy story of like abuse and kidnapping, and there's like a bunch of these things that you're not sure what's happening, and that's the pull of it. It's just like really confusing and super creepy, even though there are no explicit jump scares or anything. So I've just been watching that, and like it's weird. It's so weird.
No, I've heard of those, and those are really exciting actually. Like to get pulled into it, because like I remember sometimes people like when they first start, they think they're real. Like,
Yeah.
and that's really cool. I feel like when a show can like immerse you like that, or not show, but you know.
Yeah,
but
anything.
that blurring of reality and like and fiction, I guess I like that. I like that.
I mean,
That's
it's
cool.
super fun. I think the videos are super weird. The audience and everything is like, what's happening? I don't get it. And that's everybody. There's an entire subreddit dedicated to trying to figure it out. So it's good stuff.
There's a subreddit for everything.
Yeah, you're right.
Unfortunately. I've been watching Frasier, the TV show Frasier. There's a group chat where someone was like, describe yourself in like one hashtag.
Oh, yeah.
And my hashtag was #started watching Frasier. And it's a really fun. Do you guys know Frasier?
Yes.
I haven't seen it, but everyone knows Frasier.
It's a fantastic series, I think. It's like really, really
So
like
funny.
it's really smart. It's like well written, but it has like this weird kind of like heart to it, like where it's like there's this whole entire like scenario of like Frasier, who's this like he's a talk show he's like a morning radio show like therapist, right? And then like he advises like this guy to like break up with his girlfriend, so the girlfriend gets mad and comes to the studio, and then she's like angry, and then they hook up, and then like he starts feeling like really bad about it. And then like he was like, and then like it's like this really beautiful woman, but then like she's like, "You're gonna break up with me after he breaks up with me," and then Frasier's like, "I'm afraid I have to," and then she's like, "I was gonna have sex with you, hot sex with you." It was like ridiculous, and then like it was just like this like, and then you just look at Frasier's face, and like he's just like this disgruntled man who like, and like I was like, man, they're really like establishing his character of like this character is based on his ethics. Like hard ethics, and I'm like, that's such great writing. I thought it's a great series.
Honestly, that's the kind of stuff that I like the most too. Is the kind of stuff where it's like they're not stupid. They're moral people. They're just normal people trying to do their best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they have a conscience and they feel guilty and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's really unique because a lot of these, a lot of shows in that same vein, like the main character just goes with the flow all the time and just like lets things happen. Mm-hmm. That's a really cool contrast.
Yeah, it's like it's definitely like it's a wicked show. I highly recommend it to people who haven't seen Frasier yet. Look at you.
Look at her tail.
So sad. All right. Also, this is going to lead into the third part of our. This is the first part of the discussion. It's a 3-part episode.
Cool.
In my head, but it's only maybe one part. But I need to ask you guys, what have you guys been listening to?
Yes.
This is important because I like a large part of our discussion today of Nick and Norah. I think like rightly so is going to be centered around like music, and not specifically. It doesn't not specifically. Well, we're going to talk about the kind of music Nick and Norah does have, but then like I just want to make it personal of like what are you listening to right now? And
can I also add part of a question of like where do you listen to it? Like what do you use to listen to?
Oh yeah.
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, of course. Who's a cute little puppy? I'm holding
It's like a little burrito.
It's like a little burrito.
Yeah, this exact shape.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'll start because I ended the last one.
Yeah, go for it.
Lately, I've been listening to.
Go.
What have I been listening to, man? I can open my Spotify. There's just like a bunch of like random shit going on everywhere. What have I been? Me and Aaron went to a concert this week.
Yeah, but who was it?
It was Caro Bonito.
What? You went to Caro this week?
Yeah.
Wow.
Daniel, you gotta go tonight.
Tonight?
No, today.
She's playing
tonight.
She's playing tonight?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You gotta find
go.
tickets. They might
Get
release
going,
extra tickets today.
You know what?
So-
If they do, there's a chance.
There's a chance.
Seriously?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. The best show. My favorite show I've ever been to.
What?
Jesus Christ, Aaron Miller.
I feel like he says that every time.
Aaron Miller is the quickest person to say like this is my favorite thing ever. Like 2 minutes after it's done.
I completely
Well,
agree.
because I know my feelings. I know what I like.
Hey, that's cool. It's cool to like stuff
Yes.
that much.
I'm ready.
I think it's nice.
I'm ready to say something's my favorite thing immediately after.
I can't argue with that. I respect that. But
can.
Caro was like fucking. I would say it's within my top 5 shows.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, definitely look it up.
It was fantastic. Really, really fantastic. Like, they had this, like, really punk setup going on, and it was super great. Besides that, I've been listening to a lot of stuff. I guess, like, I've been going, like, backwards, and I've been listening to a lot of, like, Harry Nilsson, a little bit of Joni Mitchell and stuff. Like, a lot of those, like, 70s singer-songwriters,
Good stuff.
They're, like, singing and they're sad, that kind of stuff. But, I've been also listening to, like, more, like, dance music, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
a little more, like, a little disco here. a
Yeah,
little
kind of
bit.
funky.
Yeah,
right?
Carly Rae Jepsen released a new single.
Yeah, she did.
Really good.
Yeah.
Little dancey tune. But yeah, like I can't say like I really want to like I really want to do a thing where I just like find the specific like era of music and just like listen to all that and then just move on from there. Like I'm just going to listen to like blues right now. I'm going to spend like a month on blues and then just like tire myself out and go to the next thing. So I feel like we're at that point where it's like you're sort of like developing like what you want, I guess, like, and I don't know, my life is too scattered as it is. I need some focus in my life.
Honestly, I feel that.
What have you been listening to, Jerry?
Actually, I watched Nick and Norah on Halloween, so that was Wednesday. And after that, there was a band in the middle of the movie that plays for like 20 seconds. It's Bishop Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're only in it for 20 seconds. So after the movie, I was like, all right, I'm kind of still on this kick. of the music from this movie, so I'm gonna try and listen to like this kind of sound, and it's a sound that fits. I think this is gonna sound weird, but fits Michael Cera's acting career really well. Because it's the same kind of music in Nick and Norah as the same kind of music that I like in like Scott Pilgrim and in Superbad. They all kind of have that same kind of feeling. So I listened to a lot of Bishop Allen this week. And aside from that, I think I've been listening to... Oh, actually, real quick, where do you listen to your music?
Oh, where do I listen to my music? Oh, geez. I would say, like... I'm usually, like... Honestly, my favorite place to listen to music is in the car, more than anything else. Yeah, I've been like... I don't know. I'm constantly just, like, whatever I'm doing, it's always like, headphones in.
Right.
And just, like, going through life like that. Like, I was listening to a bunch of Carol while mowing the grass the other day. I was on a run and I was listening to like LCD sound system and stuff. But it's like in the car, in transit.
Yeah.
Like that's when, you know, you could really like make things loud and just like start like screaming out, you know?
Yeah.
You know, like, I'll be the boyfriend in your wet dreams. Aaron knows Franco shit. You know.
Yeah.
You know those feelings.
Yeah. My favorite place to listen to music is actually, I park. Not in the normal place where people park. I park in the Pumbaa lot, and then I walk. So it's like a really quick walk. It's less than 10 minutes or so to get to work. And I love listening to music during that walk. It's like my favorite thing to do. Because I'm really big on like the authentic instruments and sounds, horns and that kind of thing. Like I don't want to call it R&B, but it's like those live bands and that kind of thing. And I've been listening to so much music, like Lake Street Drive. I've also been listening to this band called Local Sound, which is amazing. They have an entire album where they just recorded in their hotel room, and it's just called Hotel Room, and it's really, really good. So that's been me this week.
Pointing to Mike at Daniel Sanchez. What have you been listening to?
I feel like my music taste has been a little bit wacky lately.
That's
like,
okay.
Like, I feel like I've been listening to stuff that's very light, like very straying away from heavy emotions. So, like for example, like I've been listening to a lot of classical. I've been listening to like, you guys know what like Muzak is?
Yeah,
like, I was showing you some like SpongeBob background music.
Yeah,
I was listening to that like Muzak kind of like
like the dum, 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 dum,
actually some
like
of that.
And
Yes,
like the ukulele stuff, right?
That's some
Especially.
ukulele stuff. I think some of that stuff is actually really good.
Yeah, no. Okay,
That stuff
like,
is really good.
Can I explain my relationship with you and music?
So good.
If you want, yeah.
Yeah, Daniel's like the godfather of music to me. Like Daniel has influenced so many like things in my life of like music wise. And like to the point where it's like I'm going to hit his point at one point. I'm listening to SpongeBob backing tracks.
Oh my god!
But no,
this is so weird though. I feel like
no, it's great. It's great.
Listening
you
to
recommended me some stuff like recently, and it was really good. I was listening to the Goldberg Variations, and then the Mantis and the Moon.
Oh yeah. That, I do like that a lot.
That was really great. You know.
I was listening to some like Arab dance music, like
really?
Omar Suleiman. I don't know if you guys have heard of him.
No. Nope. Describe that kind of music. Like, how does it feel?
It just kind of sounds like the kind of music you hear if you went to like a legit Indian grocery store, but like with dancier beats.
Whoa,
that's so cool. It's like heavier, a little heavier, and I really like it. It's really nice.
Oh, that reminds me, actually. Recently, I learned from a friend of an entirely new genre of music that I didn't even know existed. It's like EDM. It's like Native American EDM. Did you know that existed?
Yes.
It's insane.
No, Grant was showing me that stuff.
Yeah, like A Tribe Called Red. They're crazy. It's really cool.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
That sounds...
My Daniel and I's former roommate, Grant, like, he showed me that stuff. Like
it's really
they like
cool.
do their actual like traditional chants.
Yeah,
like
traditional chants.
And like there's so much like drumming that happens within like a drum circle in like a native, depending on which tribe you're like looking at. I don't know too much about it, but like drumming is such a big part of it, so it like only makes sense that the beat fits.
Yeah, you know? And it's just so heavy and like it really gets you moving. But that's what it reminds me of. Like you said,
it might be. Yeah, it sounds really good either way. Like tribal EDM.
Yeah,
that sounds cool.
It's crazy.
Aaron, What have you been listening to, young man?
Mostly
The Village People.
leading. Well, the KKV concert was just 2 days ago.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So leading up to that, I was just listening to KKV really, but something really cool happened this week. I found out that my family's phone data plan, we upgraded to unlimited.
Wow,
So I
Big
can just
moves.
listen to Spotify whenever, wherever.
it's great,
So
right?
you've
And
got
then-
premium now?
I've had premium.
Yeah. So wait, like, what do you
But
mean?
like
you
before, I had to download everything because we didn't have unlimited data.
Oh.
Because I
that's
didn't want to use up all our data to
Right,
listen to
right,
music like in the car. But also, my old car with the Bluetooth, the transmission broke, so I've been driving a backup car, and it doesn't have an aux cord or Bluetooth.
Yikes.
But my girlfriend is out of town, so she gave me her
Bluetooth
thing to plug in to the
Oh yeah, the cigarette
Yeah,
like
that one.
lighter
Lighter.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
You know that
so
little part of the
I've
car?
been-
Yeah.
That's so weird to me.
So I've
Yeah.
been just
So weird.
listening to Spotify for
The first time.
it's
Really
like,
the first
it's
time.
like a new car.
That's crazy to me.
It is
Yeah.
crazy. So
Man.
I've just been listening to like my library on
Cherish
shuffle,
what you
really.
have, everybody. Cherish what you have.
That's true.
Dude, I have to admit, I have not really used Spotify either though. Like this whole time.
You're more of like a download the music, put it on your iPod kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you listen to music? Daniel?
Actually, you know, oh yeah, I didn't say, but usually in the car running too. I do think that's like the best time
For sure.
for me. And I actually use YouTube a lot. I don't know, it's kind of stupid. I think I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot because like Spotify would
Sometimes-
be easier, right?
Yeah,
like it
for
would.
sure.
So I think that's what I've been doing.
I
Hey.
got this new YouTube download client, which was great. Sorry, Jared.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Oh yeah. Oh. Yeah. I've been like slowly downloading whatever songs I have off of YouTube and put it on my iTunes because I found like sometimes like they just get taken down randomly and I'm
Yeah,
like
for sure.
that scares me. You know, what if I want to listen to 12 hours of the Undertale theme song? I need to download that shit.
Actually, speaking of which, this is a really big tangent, but they just the guy who made Undertale just released it's kind of like a prequel series.
Oh, yeah, my brother's
Oh.
one.
Yeah, it just came out.
What's it called?
It's called.
It's like dark something.
This starts with a D. I'll look it up, but we can continue the discussion while I'm looking it up. Regardless, yeah, it's completely new music. It's a new story. I think it's a prequel, but I'll look it up. It's called Deltarune.
Deltarune.
Mm-hmm. So, and it's free to download if you want to do it.
Oh wow, it's already released.
It's already yeah. He just released chapter
Crazy.
1. It's crazy.
Okay, I wanna do something before we start against Nick and Norah. Is that cool?
Sure.
It's a segment I like to call surprise soft drink. Jared Lindsay, explain to our audience what surprise soft drink
Okay,
is.
so every time we have a guest on the Soda Society podcast, John, specifically John,
Yeah.
brings in a surprise soft drink. It could be any kind of soft drink. Obviously, it's different than the soda that we are drinking, and the guest gets to choose whether they want to take that soft drink or pass it on. And we go by white elephant rules here, so if you pass it on twice, that
Thank
person
you.
has to drink it. But there are also 3 things that the guest can choose. I think it's, would Jonathan Kim drink the soda?
Yes.
One nutritional fact about the soda, and then what's the last thing?
If you would like just like a general hint.
Or like a general hint about the soda, like a general knowledge question.
Wait, so I'm trying to guess what the soda is?
It's guessing and like whether you want to keep the soda or not.
Yeah. Okay.
Remember, you can pass it off.
Yeah.
And it's all or nothing, so I can't like sip it and be like,
No,
it's
that's
all
all
or
or
nothing?
nothing.
You
Okay.
gotta finish it if you get it.
All right.
Yeah. So the
let's
whole entire
do
point of
this.
Soul Society is you need to finish your drink by the end of the discussion, basically.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, okay.
It's been really bad. It's one of the main draws to our podcast. You know?
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, all of the guests that we've had so far, they've just taken it.
They've just taken it,
Oh
so
my
you can pass
gosh.
it on. Like
I'm
give
gonna
me-
feel bad. Okay,
Yeah, you gotta
let's
ask me a
get
question.
started. Let's
Yeah.
get into this.
Oh, I love Daniel. He's
Yeah.
like, let's do it.
So
You're-
So what were the 3? So I asked you what the soda is, kind of like what those 3.
Yeah, so it's like,
questions.
would I drink it? I'm gonna give you the caffeine content of it, and then I'm going to give you just a general hint
fact.
about it.
Okay.
General hint.
General hint. I'll go
General
with
hint.
that.
Okay. You are trekking in the mountains, and you'll find a specific one that fills you with great lights and great currents of power.
I didn't know we were playing D&D.
Ooh.
I'm thinking mountains is Arizona and specific Arizona.
You don't. I won't tell you what it is until someone takes it. So with that
a
with
good
that hint,
guess.
would you want to keep it or do you want to pass it along? You can pass it to anyone, including myself.
I'll keep it. It sounds like it's Arizona.
Oh,
That sounds okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Daniel Sanchez. I'm sorry, it's not Arizona,
Oh,
but it is Mountain Dew Kickstart.
Oh my god, no!
That makes sense.
That's like the opposite almost.
It makes sense because you said trucking first, which I was like, what?
Like I was like, so, the whole time I was trying to say Mountain Dew, but not Mountain Dew.
Oh my gosh, what was I thinking?
You're trucking through the mountains.
Daniel Sanchez, it's okay. This looks like the best flavor out of all of them when I looked at it. And it was like one of the that was Stater Brothers, and like there's a whole entire aisle of soda, like which is crazy. Like there are like 20 of each Mountain Dew Kickstart flavors.
Wow.
But this only had 3, so
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
there's something special about this.
That
Mountain
must
Dew
mean it's
Kickstart.
pretty good. Honestly,
Oh my
I was looking
gosh.
at the facts. They're not that bad.
Yeah.
Last week, what was it?
Oh
was
jeez.
coconut
Oh no,
water.
coconut water, and
Yeah.
then the week before was probably the
Was
worst.
the worst?
Was
Yeah, it was a
Yoo-hoo.
Yoo-hoo.
What's you? Oh, it's the
Chocolate
chocolate milk.
Yeah.
The amount of
Water,
sugar on that
chocolate
thing
milk.
is like ridiculous.
You had
Actually,
it?
this only
Probably
has 80 calories. That's not too bad
Yeah,
for
it's not
like.
bad.
It's not too bad. The only thing that worries me a little is the caffeine.
It's the caffeine.
It's the caffeine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna be
But,
bouncing off the walls.
Bouncing, Daniel.
I know.
What worries me is it's only 5% juice.
Aaron consistently does this thing on the podcast where he'll say something and then there will be a palpable silence.
I love that though. That's when I laugh when I listen to these episodes.
I know, right? And it's so funny because it always happens completely naturally. Like we don't plan
No.
on not acknowledging it.
Not at all.
It
Not
just
at
happens.
all. It's just Aaron speaks.
It's definitely true. I'm a guest, and I just couldn't. I didn't know what to say. Yeah, I'm gonna open
Can
this
you check the
now.
power level really quick for me? How is
Check it?
Yeah.
What am I looking for?
It's not like blinking or anything, right? Just like there's a battery level over there.
Oh,
Yeah, up at the
No,
top.
it's not blinking.
Okay,
We're doing
we
good.
should be okay. Yeah,
Oh, man,
I eventually need to
so
change
good.
the battery at some point, but yeah. RC Cola, right?
Yeah,
Not bad.
I'm a big fan.
So I just want to talk just sort of generally about this fantastic movie, Nick and Norah's Infinite Playlist. Just so ridiculous. So the one thing of Soda Society, whenever you make a point about anything, you take a sip of soda, basically. In your case, Mountain Dew Kickstart. So can you describe it?
You know, it's like not too sweet, which is good.
Can you try a little bit?
Yeah. It's actually just pretty good. Like you got some of that mango flavor,
Oh, that's not bad.
a little lime, yeah, and it's really not too sweet, which really helps. It's pretty good.
That's
actually
not
pretty
bad.
good. Yeah.
That's not. I wouldn't be mad with that, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think about RC Cola, Aaron?
It's really good. It's just like for me, of course, for the audience, Coca-Cola, just plain Coca-Cola is my favorite soda in the world.
It's one of your favorite things in the
It's
world.
one of my favorite things in the world.
Yep, he stands by that.
RC Cola is just like a smidge below that.
Wow.
That's
Just
still
the
pretty high
tiniest,
praise, I
tiniest
think.
Yeah, that's-
Yeah.
High praise for Aaron,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's like second best.
Like, yeah, it's really good. I would go out and get
Oh,
RC
yeah.
Cola.
Sounds good.
I always thought RC Cola was one of those like second-rate brands. I think we were talking about this a little bit last week. I always thought it was one of those second-rate brands when I was growing up because my dad would always drink them, and I was like, "What is this like?" weird
Mr.
soda?
Lindsay's always drinking second-rate thing.
Second-rate stuff. But it's not like it's
its own thing,
It's its
right?
own thing, and it's amazing. It's really good.
It is. Mr. Lindsay has great taste, actually.
Thank
I'll
you.
be honest. Yeah, I love your dads. Everyone's dad here. Top 10 dads.
Top 10 dads.
Top 10 dads.
That's
Your dad's
good.
in my
That's
top
4 of
10.
the 6
Thank
dads.
you.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
I agree.
Okay. Okay, so I sort of want to talk about, like, just, like, in the context of this movie, like, why do you think people love this film?
Do people love this film?
I think
I didn't
people
know
love this
that.
film
Okay.
because I think it's a cult classic. The reason why I sort of wanted to pick this, like going through my thought process was I'd never seen it before, but I watched it about 6 months ago.
Gotcha.
And I had an active Twitter account before I deleted that shit. Because I can't deal with the pressure, man. But yeah, no, I was like doing the sort of thing where I was like live tweeting, like I'm watching Nick and Norah's Infinite Playlist. I don't have a lot of Twitter followers, but then like a majority of them were like, this is my shit right now. Like people were like, yeah, Nick and Norah's, like I've seen that shit, so fucking good. And the more I started I DM'd one of my friends. I won't name her because maybe she doesn't want to be named, but we'll call her Scarlett Johansson. No,
I think that's even better.
We'll call her Scarlett. Johansson. Yeah, I was talking to Scarlett Johansson about it. And then she was just telling me all about like, well, actually, no, I had a dream. Like, I'll talk to about my dream right after this, but about Soul Society. But yeah, I was talking to one of my friends about it, and she was like, yeah, like, this movie means a lot to me. Like, it came to me at a very specific time in my life, and it's sort of like, it's one of those, like, really, like, experiences where it's like, it captures so many things that I love about it. I didn't really ask about a lot of specifics because we were just having normal conversation. But she was like, yeah, it's a really special place in my heart. And the more and more I sort of like saw with like a lot of people and like the internet, like it does have a very special place for a lot of people of like representing. I think there are certain things of like it represents 2000s culture really well, and it also represents New York pretty. Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
I think it's a great New York movie. Yeah, in a way that's like very innocent. Like this is a very innocent, exciting film. But yeah, I don't know. I like people do like it, but why do you think people like it? I guess.
Yeah, when I watched it the first time, because like I went to undergrad on the East Coast, so I'm from California, but I went to school in North Carolina, and we would drive up to New York every once in a while. So I got to experience like nights like that in the city. And after I finished watching the movie, I was like, this is the quintessential. This is like the best night you could possibly have in New York City if you went there to do it. And it's completely possible to have a night like that. Minus like the lack of traffic that made the movie not realistic. That was the only thing. Everything else was just so good. As far as them getting lost and trying to find each other and just like the circumstances surrounding like having a good time in New York City, I thought it was great. It is the best time you could possibly have if you were trying to have a good time in New York. And I loved that because it was nostalgic in a sense. It was
very nostalgic.
Yeah.
Very nostalgic. I don't know, how'd you guys feel about the movie?
I enjoyed it. It was fun. I don't know, for me, it didn't...
Can I say really quick?
Yeah.
This isn't a good movie.
Okay.
Let's be honest. It's an amazing movie. It's not a good movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you guys know what I'm saying?
I think I know.
Yeah, I kind of know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
So
feel free to like criticize it for like what goes on.
It didn't hit me like in like any sort of emotional sense. I mean, there were parts that I really liked about it, and some parts that it was like this sort of boring or stuff that I just like didn't really care for. But overall, like I loved that it's just like they're having an adventure in New York. There's just a bunch of buddies. Like that was really, really fun to me. Like that was the part I latched on to. Like it was like it's a bunch of friends trying to help each other out. Like, and just going around, driving around town, switching cars, going to different music venues, seeing different bands, listening to music. It was like
I've had a night like that.
Nice. Yeah, that's
where it's
really
like just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like by the end, like you're just like laughing about how ridiculous it is. But yeah, like I wrote like specifically like the feeling that they get like really well is like excitement.
Yeah.
Like
to be young.
That really great scene of like they're like the three guys are like drunk and then they like meet Nick and Norah and then they like open the doors. They're like search party. And then, like,
I thought that was so good.
And now,
have you kids been drinking?
Yeah, it was like really like genuine, and I was like, it was great. But yeah, so Daniel, what did you think, Daniel? Just general impressions.
I think overall, I did enjoy the movie. I thought it was sweet. Like it felt like it came from a sweet place. Like I think it, like you guys were saying, like this would be a really great night. And I also think one thing that's worth pointing out is if you saw this movie before you got a chance to do these kinds of things, I feel like it would shape like what you're expecting out of college and all that. And it would, and it would, like it would really influence you, like just to think, oh, I could go to concerts like this, and I could like meet somebody and have this crazy adventure with them, and we could go out and be out all night, that kind of thing. I will say though, I had major issues with a lot of the film, and I did get taken out of some of the emotion of it. But I do feel like it looks good, and the music is good.
Yeah.
And I think overall it leaves a pretty nice impression. I think even with the flaws I had with it, or
Definitely.
I thought I had.
Yeah, there were some big flaws as far as like characters.
I found emotion, like most of the emotion for me just came from like Michael Cera's little gestures. Like Michael Cera is really fucking really fantastic in this. Like, I think like I think everyone in the film is like really ridiculous. I think Michael Cera is like he's like very like vanilla actually for this movie, but
he's
then like
super tame.
Everything that's happening around him is just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like there's like one of my favorite like moves by him in this film is like Nora's like sort of like angry and she's like blah 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 blah, and then like or no she's like just like she's incredulous at the situation itself, and then Michael Cera like is just like looking at her, and then like he sort of like moves a piece of hair off her shoulder or something, and I'm like, that's fucking great acting. Like I can't believe what like some of these other characters say it sometimes, but then like I could believe that. And then like the scene where they're dancing and he's like, yeah, do this, and he's like, have you done the blow dryer? And then he just like ruffles her hair. My favorite part.
Yeah, that was adorable.
Because I'm like, that's so like, I don't know, it's like
innocent.
Yeah, it's so innocent. Like this is a fucking surreal movie.
Yeah, it has a lot of heart. I think one of my favorite one of my favorite things about it is like they're friends, but they're so good to one another. Like they really have all of their best intentions at heart. Yeah, like everybody in the band. Come on, are you?
They're just trying to do their best.
They're just doing their best, and they're really genuine about it. Like they really mean it when they're like, "You guys should go get each other," and I thought that was cute. Like, I had. Thank you so much, John. I had. He just put a bunch of cheeses for.
The sprinkles.
There's sprinkles, yeah. It was like a scene that I equally really liked, and also was like, oh, okay, this is where it gets really cheesy. But it's when they're sitting in the van, like obviously wondering where what's her name is. Yeah. And he's like, the Beatles, I want to hold your hand. That whole
oh my gosh,
I loved that.
I thought that was great.
I thought that was so good.
One of the better cheesy moments.
Yeah, but it was so cheesy. It was so cheesy. Oh man, it's like and they're just like, and then the gay couple walks by and they like raise their hand.
So good.
That was really good.
I thought that was amazing. And I thought that dialogue was like, that's not a real conversation, but it's like it's the sentiment that it gives off more so than the actual words. They just really care about one another, and I thought that was nice. Yeah.
What were your guys' favorite? What was your favorite part? What was your favorite scene in the movie? And what's something you disliked about the movie? Well, so, like I think we should also like sort of like look at its flaws too, because there are a lot.
Well, we don't want to necessarily touch on Michael Cera. But you're right. Actually, I think that is one of my favorite scenes. You know, the where they're dancing and he does those moves. Because I feel like it's for me, it's one of the scenes where I really see the chemistry really well. Yeah, it really shines through for me. But I actually really like Michael Cera in the beginning of the movie where he acts more like like
lovesick puppy.
Yeah, and more lame. Like I remember, there are guys who are gonna come to his car to be taxing. He's like I'm not a cab. I promise you. Like he said it so like he said it so weird. Like I was like, but it felt real. Like it felt real, but it was weird. I'm like that's really hilarious. Like I just laughed out loud.
Did you like the dream sequence? Do you know that dream sequence like where it's like Michael Cera's in blue and his like ex-girlfriend's there?
Oh yeah,
and then like Michael Cera's just like a fucking like kid. Like she's like, is it short enough? And then he's like,
oh yeah,
that's pretty good. Yeah, so good. Subtle.
Like he has that like face of like,
this
is a fucking kid.
I know.
Yeah, for sure.
Those were some of my favorite parts. Weird as it is, because like I just thought they were so fun. I loved seeing him in the beginning of the movie. I will say though, like one flaw that I kind of had. Or I just want to point out, because I think it's kind of important. Like, I can see in this movie why Michael Cera likes Nora. Because, Nora's, like, like she's objectively like a pretty sweet girl. Like she's smart, she's witty, she's fun. You know, she's like a good friend. But it's a little hard for me sometimes to see it the other way around. Why would and you know he's I think
that's true.
And it kind of ties to another problem I had with the movie. Like, I thought it would have been a little more powerful if she didn't already like his music taste from, like, you know, before she even meets him.
Right.
Because to me, it just felt a little contrived. But then I kind of realized, like, maybe they had that in so that it makes more sense why she likes him so much.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But I did feel like that was one of my biggest issues was that there was only, like, that one scene where they're dancing was one of the times I thought the chemistry really. Oh yeah, and the first sex scene. I actually thought that was a really good scene. Actually,
the sex scene
that was one of my favorite scenes. Actually, I actually really liked seeing the volume levels go up. I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah.
That was nice.
That's a very weird arc that she goes through in the film.
Oh my god,
that was a little uncomfortable at times.
Yeah, because it seems like that conversation that they had like with Nora and his ex and Triss in the supermarket where they talk about like the word is you've never had an orgasm is like comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then they just throw that in because later on it calls back. So I thought that was something I was like, oh what?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest flaws of the film. Is like you can see all the setups happening. Like you can sort of see like that's gonna come back, that's gonna come back, which is like not super big of it's not a huge flaw, but then like for this kind of movie of like I think the film gets what it needs to get done of being like sentimental music, exciting flick.
Yes.
But yeah, like I do think chemistry could have been built, and I think what you're saying, that issue is like indicative of a larger sort of like problem like this type of movie has of like a one night film. Yeah. Like, you know, like having all the action and drama sort of happen. Like it's really difficult to establish history and like all these kind of things. And that's when I felt like, you know, when Triss was like, oh, another mix, and then like throws it, and then they're like, why do we hang out with her? You know, all these, it's like, and then like, you know, like they basically redo that same action like 5 minutes after. Yeah. By the way, I sort of like counted like how long Caroline is sober in the film. Only 8 minutes. Yeah.
The rest of the movie,
she's
just drunk. She is shit faced.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that is a big problem of like one night films, like that I've sort of like understood of like it's really difficult to like establish the right amount of exposition. You know? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Aaron, what was your favorite scene? And if you had any like big qualms.
Favorite scene was when Caroline is in the she's at like
Jesus Christ
Union Station or whatever.
Yeah.
Grand Central Station or wherever she's at.
No,
she's in the bathroom and she throws up and she drops the phone in the toilet.
And then the gum.
And she gets the phone out and she's talking to Nora. And then she gets the gum out.
Oh my god.
And puts it back in her mouth.
Cringing.
Oh yeah, that's so
it's like a Harmony Korine scene, honestly.
The gum was one of my favorite like recurring things.
I knew you would love the gum.
Oh my god.
There was a point where I was gonna just get like fruit flavored gum for all of us.
Wow.
That would have been horrible
like
though.
At first I wasn't into it, but over time I was like, okay,
it's ridiculous.
I'm learning to love the gum.
Like Nora has it in its own little dish. She had to like say like, hey, can I get a small dish for this gum I have?
Oh yeah, she had to ask that. I forgot.
And she's straight sober.
And then there's a sex scene at the end. I didn't care for the sex scene. I thought it was sort of weird, and I didn't like the whole arc. Sorry.
Well, no, we can get into it.
But I liked how Michael Cera pulls the gum out because they're making out.
Yeah.
So like, it was. I like that. I thought that was. Cute.
Yeah, it's transferring the saliva to every character.
Yeah. But I like the scene at the station because then the phone call ends, and then they're like, "Oh, where was she?" And they're like, "Oh, there's music, so she must be at a club." So then they leave, and then she was right in the bathroom right there.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
So like that whole thing, like for me, that sort of thing always captures like the sense of like chaos and like adventure, like in any, because like cartoons do that sort of thing all the time. Like it's a common.
It was also a good sense of like geography. I guess.
Yeah. But it's just like everyone's in this one place, but they don't realize it. And then they all split up again, and the movie continues.
Did you like the ham sandwich scene?
Yeah, that was cute. I like the chef, and he's just silent.
It's so uncomfortable, right? Like
that was really fun.
I've seen that guy on like Community and stuff, and like if you see like just out of the corner of your eye while she's like about to eat the sandwich, like he just has like the gum and he's like just waving his hand around like trying to get it off his finger. We'll be right back with the Soda Society. And we're back to the Soda Society. Ooh, smooth, right?
Yeah, that was
smooth.
really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now I gotta come up with like transition sounds of like glug 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 glugs. Be right back.
I really like your
Play the-
transition sounds.
Play the glug glug
Oh,
glug
thank
glug
you.
glug, but
Thank
just
you.
backwards. Or a toilet flush.
Yeah.
Or something.
Oh, I like
That's
the
a good
toilet
one.
flush. I like the toilet
That's a
flush.
really good one.
We had the suggestion from it's recording, right? You see like the time
Yeah.
moving. Okay, yeah. We had a
Mm-hmm.
we had a suggestion from our last week's guest was Farhan, and he was like, we should get a soundboard, and I'm like, we should get a soundboard, but it should just be soda sounds or like mouth sounds.
Yeah.
Like that. Nice.
Sounds good to me.
Something
That's a
like
great
that.
suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I okay.
Oh wait! Can we jump back into the favorite and least favorite moments?
Yeah.
Because I got some gripes
Ooh.
that I want to discuss
Yeah.
real fast. Gripe number 1.
Gay people.
No, that was really honestly they were my favorite characters. The band members of the Jerk-Offs, they were great.
Really
I thought they were such like for being so one-dimensional. I felt like they actually had a lot of history with Nick.
Jesus
I
Christ,
enjoyed that.
Lothario was like the biggest like scene chewer,
Right?
like scenery chewer. Just like it was the beefcake guy.
Yeah. just
Like every
being-
time I saw him, he's like, "What are you doing, man?"
Yeah, he's just like
He's
there
just
to
like
look good, right?
overacting. Yeah.
For sure. But gripe number 1, I mean, it makes sense because they spend the whole movie looking for what's the band,
Where's Fluffy?
where is Fluffy, and then they show them walk out, and then you don't hear any of their music. I was like, I guess I'll accept that. But I felt kind of cheated a little bit, just a
Yeah.
little bit. You know what I mean?
Because I didn't think they were even gonna
Show
find
up.
them.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't either. But they did, and then Nick and Norah making the choice to leave, I thought was like, okay, I can kind of see it, but I thought that was a little forced too. It's like, oh, they'd rather be with each other, but I was like, you could be with each other at the band
Yeah.
concert that you guys wanted to see. But the other thing, that it's something that I really like and dislike at the same time. The sex scene. They didn't have sex. They didn't like fully have sex.
Yeah, he just
He got her off. He made her orgasm.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. The thing, but that during that scene, one, I like the fact that like this is a movie, especially with like a lot of those one night party movies where it's like really super about like young people being sexually active, that kind of thing. Like this was as innocent as it could get in a sense. Like it was
Yeah.
between two people who were like, we're not sure how this works, and it felt authentic because they were like, I don't quite know how these things work. And you're a new partner, so I don't really know how that is. And I appreciated that.
They're like seniors in high school, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they were like young and inexperienced, and that kind of showed. And it was like
Yeah.
super, and it was nice because like they were both like really consensual about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
in a lot of movies, it still is a little, it's weird, and I feel like a lot of filmmakers have trouble capturing
Without being
That-
like, yeah, it's
without
like
being
the
over-sexual.
how
gratuitous.
gratuitous it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I agree.
Yeah, and so I appreciated that for that scene. However, I was also like, oh man, with the sound levels and everything, they're recording and then they leave,
Yeah.
and that recording is
Oh
there.
yeah, I didn't really think about that.
That was the one thought that went through my mind. I was like, Nora, you better check that sound booth, girl. You left.
This is for the sequel.
Your dad is coming in the morning and is just gonna hear
Oh
you
my
getting
gosh.
freaky with a guy.
Wow.
That's pretty.
That was the one thought I had, and I was like, oh no, great shot with the levels.
That's why she's going to Brown.
Yeah, to Brown. And I was like, oh no, you can't just leave it there. I was yeah, but anyway, those are my two things.
You guys want to talk about that scene for a little bit? 'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's interesting because like Aaron really doesn't like it, and like
You
I
enjoy
kinda-
it.
Yeah, and I kind of want to clarify how I felt about it because
Yeah.
like okay, so I agree exactly with what Jared's saying. I do think that it came off finally when you finally see them, that shot over the shoulder of them on the whatever that is, a sofa or something.
Yeah.
I do feel like at that point it feels really authentic, and I thought it was kind of a romantic shot to see the levels because I don't know, like it just feels like a kind of
it's music. It's music being used.
That too. But I will say that I don't know if this is how Aaron felt about it, but I will say that like it did. Because I didn't really buy into the romance that much because I had problems with their chemistry. It did feel a little bit like maybe a little forced, but the thing was that I didn't have like really high expectations is another thing in this movie because like it felt kind of like a fantasy to me in a lot of ways. Like this, I can see where this is going. They're gonna fall in love, and like this is gonna get more serious, and and so it didn't really bother me too much that it didn't have. I would say the sex scene didn't have a super proper setup if we're comparing it to like a really great masterpiece romance or something.
Sure.
But I didn't care. Like I was like, you know what? I like these romantic shots, and I did like I like how they act with each other after sex or like during it for that little bit. So that's why I overall liked that scene, I guess.
I like the build up to that scene a lot. Like I love like Michael Cera's about to sing this song, like he's sort of like joking about her like crashing his Yugo. And then like she's just like looking at him through like the glass. It's like one of those like great like moments of like
I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, no, I think just like, I think one of the most like powerful things in like movies are just like eyes. And like, I've been really interested in like just the stares people have because like when you put an actor in front of a camera, you're just like one of the most powerful things you can just say is just like just look over there and don't break your gaze, which is what she basically does. And then like she basically like you get a back and forth. It cuts back to like Michael Cera, cuts back to her. And I'm like, I'm gonna come in, and I'm like, oh man, like that was like such a moment of like.
Yeah, it's
really like quiet
coming of age.
I was like okay with like the sex scene, but then like just the moments building up to it, I thought that was when like, I guess like that was the realest like moments of it for me because I didn't think about her arc. I didn't think about like this like weird like orgasm fulfillment arc of like.
I didn't think about that either. Actually,
it's a weird arc.
That was all out of my mind.
Yeah, spoilers.
Spoilers are always ahead. But no, I really thought about it like like when it was happening. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is gonna happen, and like. But like sort of like the moments before where I could feel like this scene was like 80 yard where they're like oh yeah like get off your like like why are your pants like this or something. I was like that's a little cute.
Yeah, that's the part that got me while I was following the chord. I was like that sounds like two people who don't know what they're doing. Yeah, and like the giggling and all that kind of stuff. I was like yeah.
And I like the visual aspect of the levels, but then like just to get that full blown like. That was a little
the peak.
That's when it gets a little. That's when it gets a little gratuitous, to be honest.
Sure.
Like, but I get it. She needs to accomplish something, and like characters always gotta have a motivation.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I think that's interesting. Like that's.
Can you, Jared? Can you feed me some soda?
Oh, I would love to. Here we go.
Oh my god!
Right. I'm gonna go nice and slowly.
Dump it.
I'm not gonna dump
Go
it.
for it.
Not gonna dump it.
No soda in his mouth right now.
So that was cool to watch.
That was intimate, huh?
That was intimate. I felt things.
I know you were so careful with it too.
Yeah. I didn't want him to spill it on him or anything.
There was trust right there.
There was trust.
Two young people who don't know what they're doing.
But no, seriously. Like, I think it's something, and it's interesting because it's something I think Michael Cera accomplishes in this movie, or his character does, and also how that he accomplishes in Superbad, which was going to be my pick before I realized we were going for Nick and Norah. Maybe I'll save it for a later date. But they have a similar arc. It's just I enjoy it when I see that, like, especially in films with younger kids or like kids in high school or college, that like there are people out there that know how to treat each other as like as good as people, and they're like actually good to each other.
They're good hearts.
Yeah, they have their hearts are in their heads are in the right place to a point where like they're like rational. I don't know how to explain it. They have a code of ethics, like you were saying earlier, like
with Frasier.
Yeah, with Frasier. But like these kids do have like a moral compass, wherein like a lot of those if we were to compare this movie as like say it's like a night party movie to something like that's
Project
more
X.
Project
Project
X, exactly. Like that's pure debauchery.
Yeah.
Like I don't find that as believable.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that is like a part of our culture is for being young that like I don't think happens as often as people like to say it is. It's like a different romanticization. I don't even know. Different aspect of like that young people culture of like this is how kids party. This is how we like do things, and this is how we have
we do it.
Yeah, we have we have a complete disregard for like each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think there's like a really nice contrast on two different ends. And Nick and Norah's the kind I like more.
Yeah. Take a sip. Aaron, what were your thoughts?
Um,
Just about yeah.
Yeah.
I guess like whether you want to focus on like that specific scene or just like the good-heartedness or whatever, or you know like there's a lot we talked about.
yeah. Well, in regards to just that scene, I wasn't like Daniel said earlier. I wasn't buying into the whole romance, their chemistry, because it's just there's a very clear line in the movie, and I forget where it is exactly, but where it's like, okay, now they like each other.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking
Okay,
about?
yeah,
I
that's
agree.
another. I wrote
was
that down
kind
actually.
of a flaw too, because like it was not that smooth for me.
Yeah.
The conversation editing was really bad. I thought.
In what?
Just like the very first scenes of them, like Nora wants to get dropped off, Nick stops her. Like it was just like that kind of thing. Of
Oh,
like
yeah, for
it just felt like really like I get it. Like it's really offbeat.
Mm-hmm.
It's not tight. But yeah, go on.
So I wasn't buying into the chemistry a whole lot. But that scene at the studio, I like the build up. I like them staring at each other. Like that was really like intimate and really like that was like the really meaty part for me.
Yeah,
for the
Michael Cera
romance.
calling her like she's like, "Oh, I'm ugly" or something. He's like, "No, you're not."
Yeah.
Just really like off. It's just like no.
Call
Yeah.
you out on it,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Like their conversation during that part, like the whispering and the giggling and then the compliments and stuff. Like and them dancing earlier, like all that stuff is so like genuine, and I felt so real. But then just the orgasm subplot, I was just like, why?
Yeah.
I don't like what's
It accomplishing.
yeah. Why
It's
did
like
she
they wanted
be-
to give something to Nora.
Yeah.
They wanted her to make her feel like insecure. Which I understand.
I understand why Trish said it earlier, but
Yeah.
I didn't know why that he had to give why they had to
Like
finish
why they
that.
had to fulfill that
Yeah.
promise.
Yeah.
But I did like the post part where they're talking and you see the gum and they're just talking to each other.
Yeah.
Like,
Just
that
loves
was
the
nice.
gum.
Loves the
Aaron
gum.
Miller just really loves the
Oh
gum
my
through
gosh.
line.
It was just everything. I just didn't care for her having it. I was just like, I mean, this sounds bad.
Yeah.
I don't care if women feel pleasure, but it's like why? Did,
You heard it here first, folks.
but why?
It was a little
Yeah.
gratuitous.
Yeah, I
But
think
other
there are
than
other
that-
things that she could have accomplished,
Yeah.
and actually just does accomplish more so. Like
I do
like-
think it's like really like sort of ballsy and cool though how they do that.
Yeah, it's
though.
ballsy.
In a way.
Like she has things to accomplish, like take care of her friend. Like she's a really good friend to Caroline, so she makes sure that her friend is like okay, and she kind of drags these three guys into it. Like that's a good goal for like the main female character to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what were you saying, Daniel?
You know, I feel like it really would have impacted how I viewed the orgasm if I like looked at it as foreshadowing before, because I just kind of thought of that as a gag for some reason.
Oh.
I don't know why. Like when I heard it, I just thought, okay, this is like just some weird joke that I don't really get that well, you know. And so I think that did affect how I viewed that, because like now that you guys are telling me this, it really makes sense that it would feel like kind of weird. Although I will say
It is a cool visual gag, I will say.
and I will say that on a separate note, I think it is perfectly fine for a girl to want to have an orgasm if she cannot have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
think that is like, you know, like because you know it's true, like some people have a really hard time with that, you know, and like it can be important to what you think
It
is in a
just-
relationship.
I think they
It's
just
a-
introduced it too late.
Yeah,
it
and
should-
it's shoehorned in maybe.
It
you know?
just didn't
Yeah,
feel like
a
she
little.
cared about it until
okay,
like
true,
because Trish
true.
mentions it and she's like, oh, hurt by it, but then after that she doesn't say anything about it.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a gag. I was like, that's like
Yeah,
Maybe it is
so
a
does
gag.
feel shoehorned. A
Yeah.
little.
but I can get that. Yeah, I can get that.
I did like like that whole thing, it makes Michael Cera feel like at the beginning he's this little baby boy.
And at the end, he's still a little bit of a baby.
At
boy.
the end, he is, but he feels more like he's more. Comes off as more confident. Like he can pleasure her. He can.
Yes.
They're comfortable with each other. But in that way, it's like, is the orgasm really helping her character
Or
as much
his.
as it's helping his?
Ooh.
Like, does that make?
I think
her,
it's helping his more.
Yeah.
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 Like I feel like the movie wanted us to see it as her,
Mm-hmm.
like a plot point, a big point for her, but it felt more like a thing for him.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't
Okay.
think she gets enough love in terms of like from her perspective. This movie, like, because I really do feel like
No,
this
I
is.
don't think she does either.
Yeah, I think it really like this movie is like more
That's true.
wish fulfillment from Michael Cera's side than from her side, definitely.
Because that goes back to the thing where it's like, we see why Michael Cera likes her, but why does Nora like him?
Yeah,
That's true. That's true.
I
think
like
that-
how I keep
yeah.
referring to Nick as Michael Cera.
And Nora, because you don't know the actress's name.
Kat Dennings. I
Kat
know.
Dennings. So
but,
you do know. So you
I
just
know,
actually just
and-
do it.
She was a lot more believable with her friend for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was like a great relationship in the film.
Unfortunate,
I-
but great. Yeah.
Great.
Oh man, Caroline she completely and utterly. Hello.
Okay, keep talking.
Okay, she completely and utterly like. Oh man, that relationship. It's so real. It was so real. Of like the sober friend who always was like, she's like, "You're gonna get drunk. Please just don't get too drunk and leave me again."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like that part at the beginning, and then at the party she immediately leaves.
It's immediately like that. It's like the next time you see her, it's like that. Cheese.
random person there.
Oh, hello.
so we're just
Can you tell
gonna.
us about that?
I'm a firm believer in ignoring things.
Should invite him into the.
The podcast?
The podcast?
Are you gonna answer it?
No.
Oh no, she's gone. See,
I wonder
she
why.
left. She left.
I wonder what was that about.
I think it's like a canvasser, honestly.
Could be, yeah, because of the election.
Yeah. I was gonna say. Any other? Oh, okay. Actually, no. Like this sort of still like. Okay. Jesus Christ, cheese.
Calm down.
Okay. What was your favorite? Okay, so this is sort of gonna segue us to our next big talking point, but it's what's your favorite use of music in the film?
Nice.
Because I can sort of talk about like there's certain parts that I really really enjoyed. Like there's some songs that I like recognize, like Little Motel by Modest Mouse, the where he's like whistling to it.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
really
yeah.
awkward.
Yeah.
But something that I think like a reason why I think like people love this movie and why it's so memorable is like these interstitial parts where they're traveling and they have like New York stock footage or B-roll or that kind of stuff, like a second unit. Hey, cheese, come on, cheese. Where they're shooting, it's just like New York, and maybe they have like, oh my god, cheese.
Come here, girl.
She's hysterical. Where they're having like these like like these in between moments where there's just like an indie song playing.
Yeah.
I think that's why people love this movie. And that's why the movie feels a lot bigger than it is, because it literally does feel like their life is being soundtracked by the music they love, which I think is like really really fantastic.
That's a great way to put it.
We're gonna get into that a little bit later, but yeah, what are your guys' favorite instances of music in the film? I really liked how they were listening to the song in the car and it felt like it was just like backtrack, and then it just gets to that's the last mix I'll make for you or something. It's just him crying. Also really fantastic.
Yeah, that was
really-
fantastic. I really
good.
I love like how both Nick and Nora like Nick makes these crazy mixes. Like the
Yeah.
mixes are great. Like that very first scene where he's like calling her and leaving her a voicemail, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not planning on making you any other mixes." And then like the CD pops out, and he's like, "Probably."
That's a Michael Cera we like, right? It's just
Yeah,
like
that's-
pathetic.
I like it, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I completely agree. I think one of another just completely surreal moment was like the first. They mention it, and it becomes a callback gag later where they mention "I am, where is Fluffy?" and instead it's like that one dude that everybody hates.
Yeah.
And then Randy.
It's like a weird Talking Head spin-off too, right?
It is.
You get that, right?
Yeah, for
That's
sure. But when they actually get to the first place and it becomes Randy, and the one guy is like, yeah, and then takes off his shirt and then just starts dancing.
No, the thing is, like, I think that guy was like angry. Like, he took off his shirt angry, and then he just got like really happy.
Into it. Yeah, and they just started
Yeah,
like
that was
breakdancing. He was like the only guy in there. I was like, okay, that's great. But like, my favorite movie or music moment is actually like when Michael Cera's band, the Jerk-Offs, are actually playing their music. And then it transitions into
Bishop
Allen. And they're like, hey guys, we're Bishop Allen. And then they start playing, and then a bunch of people fill the frame as like Michael Cera walks out of it. I thought that was great. Like, I really, really enjoyed that. It's, what is it, undiegetic or diegetic?
Diegetic is within the scene.
Is within the scene.
Yeah.
So it's all of that diegetic music that also feels like it's a part of the soundtrack that I enjoy. Yeah.
Aaron or Daniel?
Still thinking.
Okay, I do want to talk about the music a little bit. So I feel kind of in a weird place with the music. Like I feel like when I look back on the movie, I think about all these great songs. I think there are great songs, and I think about those establishing shots, which are really nice.
Yeah.
And it feels really good. But the funny thing is that when I was actually watching the movie, I had some problems with the music, and not because the music was bad or anything like that, but because I think the music originally messed with my expectations a little bit, because these are really good songs, really romantic songs. Some of them are a little melancholy, some of them are a little bit like punky, and like it kind of made me feel like I was gonna see more of a love story than we actually got. That's how I felt, at least. And so what happened was, like, we have a lot of that comedy which I liked a lot of it, but to me it kind of clashed some of the times with the mood I was expecting with the music. That's just me. And then also, like, when I look back on it, I like thinking about it, but sometimes when they would just get in the car, and there are some scenes where like Nick and Norah don't even like each other yet.
Yeah.
And they get in the car and the music is playing and it's this love, like, romantic, punky song, and it's like, and I just feel like kind of manipulated. I'm like, what? I don't know. That's how I felt at the time. Sure. But I will say though that it kind of worked, because I feel like this movie will be better on rewatch, because I already expect it to not give me that, and it does visually work well, the music and the
visually.
So I feel like this would get better on rewatch because of the music, and on first viewing didn't really like it that much a lot of the time. Although I do think that it was really sweet, like in the car, like that scene you mentioned where I think he's playing a mix, and later that hilarious part comes out, but even before that, it's kind of nice to hear them talking about music. It feels kind of natural,
Yeah.
It feels pretty good, so I like that.
That was really nice. Man. Yeah, no, I totally get that. Like, I feel like I'm becoming more and more cognizant of, like, when a movie pumps in music to, like, manipulate me.
Oh, yeah.
It's all mind control tactics. But, yeah. I mean, Aaron, like, we sort of talked about this, and, like, you had this problem, like, in mid-90s, right?
What?
Of just, like, they we were talking about, like, the score, and, like, when the score came on, versus, like, the actual, like, hip-hop music in the film.
Well, because I don't know if you guys have seen mid-90s.
No.
But they mix, like, music from the era as a soundtrack, and then there's parts...
When does the film take place, Aaron?
In the mid-90s.
Thank you.
And they mix in, like, orchestral score at some points, and I hated the orchestral score because it felt so out of place.
I enjoyed it. It was done by Atticus Ross, and
I'm sure. I mean, it wasn't bad music. It was just like it took me out of it, because it's like, why am I hearing this right now? I could be the rest of it soundtracked by, like, other music, and then
from the 90s.
From the 90s,
yeah.
And I liked how this movie didn't do that. It's all like actual music, quote unquote actual music.
Yeah. The score in this was actually really great.
I didn't really notice the score.
The score and Nick and Norah?
Yeah,
and that's why it's good.
Maybe, because if it doesn't take you out, like in the 90s, you notice it.
It's so natural within the film. You only remember the songs that they make you pay attention to. I think that's.
But the score, it's done by Mark Mothers, He's the guy who did the first like Wes Anderson films. Also part of Devo.
Huh.
Ah.
Yeah. But I really, it was a good score. I thought it was fun. But Aaron, what was your favorite use of movie? What's your favorite use of movie and music?
In all honesty, right now I can't think of any songs. I think the biggest problem for me was I didn't recognize a lot of it.
Yeah.
Fair.
So I didn't like attach to anything in my brain. The only one where I really recognized the song was when Triss is dancing in front of the car.
Yeah.
That scene is crazy.
That's a surreal scene.
It's
It
a very
is.
surreal scene.
I feel like that actress
Triss-
really didn't want to do that scene.
Really?
I don't
How
know.
could you tell?
I feel like just the way, because how
Jerry's
she
an actor,
danced,
so.
because how she danced.
I felt like she was
Felt like-
really into it.
Maybe. I just don't know. Because, like,
I think her.
she's not the. Well, I mean, like, I'm sure she would say that she's not the greatest dancer
Yeah.
either, but I don't know. There's a lot of heart for being, like, an actor who knows they can't dance, and the director's like, you gotta dance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But I mean, I think she owned it.
Yeah, for sure.
But like,
I agree.
at
Favorite
that
visual in
scene-
the film, one of my favorites is like she kisses the thing and then
yeah,
Sarah
yeah,
gets
wipes
wipes it off.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Because it's on his cheek.
I was like, yeah.
It's on his cheek in the windshield.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I thought it was hilarious when he just drives away.
Drives away.
Oh my god.
And then the whole like thing where Gary's always like, "Oh, but we did this or whatever." She's like, "Shut up!" Like, she's like, "I had to walk back to 10th on my own," and and Gary's
It's
like, "Oh,
well,
you weren't by
technically, I
yourself."
kind of picked you
Yeah,
up.
and then she was like, "Shut up." I love those. Are
Yeah, great music.
great music.
I have a really like interesting question. It's sort of a fun question, but then like, if Where Slowly was a real band, what kind of music would they? Well, like, what kind of like band would they be modeled after? For me,
Diplo.
I think it's Arcade Fire. I like get Arcade
Okay,
Fire.
yeah,
vibes,
I can
right?
see that.
Interesting.
I can
Yeah.
see that for sure.
I think Arcade Fire.
Either
In the
Arcade,
suburbs, I
either Arcade Fire
learned
or
to
like
drive.
Dead Mouse.
Dead Mouse?
I'm kidding.
I
No,
can see
Arcade
I
Fire.
can see Modest Mouse.
Yeah, what if they were just a ska band the whole time?
Jeez.
Oh my gosh, that'd be hilarious.
Like
Like what?
everyone's just so into like
Ska.
this ska band.
ska. Yeah.
Their tactics of like doing bait and switches
Yeah.
remind me of like early Death Grips. How they
Oh,
would, like,
yeah.
Sometimes not go to shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, that's
oh
messed
yeah.
up.
Also,
But like the musical style is definitely like Arcade Fire in my
Yeah.
imagination.
Yeah.
or like LCD sound
Yeah.
system in a way.
Mhm.
I guess the LCD sound system for
Yeah.
me more than Arcade Fire.
Well, I think both of those bands would fit into its soundtrack
Yeah.
relatively well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they just kind of all have that same flow.
Mm-hmm. Well, what kind of band do you think?
If it wasn't for the logo, I would have
Uh-huh.
guessed something like the Strokes. To be honest, because
Yes,
I would have imagined like something with a
Strokes.
lot of hype.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
I didn't know if back in the day Arcade Fire had that much hype with this type of crowd. I'm not sure, but
They have it.
Yeah.
Someone has an Arcade Fire poster in their bedroom.
oh really?
Oh.
Okay, actually,
Oh, Nick
Of
does.
the-
that might
one
sell me
with
on
the-
that. Yeah.
Nick
Yeah.
does. He has a picture of the Ramones and Arcade Fire. I think they're like next to each other.
I could see Fluffy being Julian Casablancas in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. That's such a. I feel that. You guys checked your phones at the same exact time.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Wow. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I really like the use of like world building in terms of like using real like musicians, like just like around like you sort of seeing like that first like title sequence of like I saw little names like Vampire Weekend.
Yeah.
You know, they have like that poster for the Go Team, you know, that Arcade Fire poster, which was great. And like I don't know if you guys noticed, but you know, in the infamous convenience store scene, the guy ordering who's like you would know what a real
you would know
orgasm.
what it would-
That's Devendra Benhart.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe so.
Wait.
From Devendra Banhart.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Wait, are you kidding?
He's
really
a
good.
he's a
He's
folk
a
musician. He's like he does a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
I listened to a couple songs, but really great.
That's such a great cameo.
Yeah, and it's like super low key and like
Yeah.
yeah. Oh man, the cameos in this were fantastic.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All over the place. So good.
Yeah. I was gonna say. But okay, but going back to music, I guess like you know, what is using music, you know I don't know why I phrased it like this. Like, what is using music in a film like? Well, okay, wait, whoa, like, well, not, yeah. How is, like, what's a good use of like music in a film that like has jumped out at you recently of like, and what do you think like doing music well in a film looks like or sounds like?
Okay.
Yeah. Jared's got opinions.
No, I don't. That's the thing. I
got opinions.
I said okay more to the fully understanding the question.
Okay, there you go.
I definitely gotta think about like a film. Okay, well, this is kind of cheating because I feel like Nick and Norah really fits alongside my favorite movie of all time, which is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I think that soundtrack for Scott Pilgrim is incredible because it's all the music that they actually play within the film. And it really just works together well that way. But I think a director specifically who just is incredible with music is Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
I mean, like, look towards
100%.
Baby Driver. I mean, aside from Kevin Spacey. And the music is really, really well done. You know what I mean? Like, I just keep thinking about that very first sequence in Baby Driver where it's all of the title credits and they're all built into the set as he's walking.
I mean, Shaun of the Dead.
And Shaun of the Dead, yeah. Don't Stop Me Now.
Don't Stop Me Now scene in the bar.
Yeah.
Where it's like on.
Where they're all
so
on beat.
Great. Yeah.
Amazing. That's how I think music should be done in movies.
Yeah. Like, I always like it when movies sort of acknowledge
the music.
Yeah.
Like, this obscure Japanese horror movie, Houseu, and
goodness,
this
the
weird
piano.
part towards the beginning where it's the teacher is walking out from somewhere, and like it's this really happy English song,
Yeah.
and like the tinker or whatever is just hammering at something outside, and they're like bobbing their heads back.
Yeah.
Back and forth to the song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that because it makes no sense. And then in 500 Days of Summer, when
That was another choice for this pick because I think it's also they're
very similar. Like they have similar uses of music. I think
Yeah.
500 Days has more recognizable music, so I think about it more. I think,
Mm-hmm.
but like the day after they have sex, and then he's like walking out, and it's like this big dance number.
Yeah, the musical number.
Yeah. Like I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
like I always love like ending music.
Oh
like,
yeah.
that
La
leads
La
into the
Land.
credits. Not La La Land doesn't do it necessarily. La La Land is a whole different realm.
It's one of those things of like, you ready for this? Yeah. Bah! And then
Yeah.
it goes into the
Yeah.
something like that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And it goes into the I see.
Yeah. I think music in film works really well when the music is definitely an extension of the character.
Yeah.
More than anything of like whether it be subconscious or like, just like conscious like choices that the character would listen to.
Yeah, because that's smart filmmaking.
Yeah.
Like everything, especially on movies that focus on their characters more than necessarily like their plots.
Mm-hmm.
Character, I think personally, should always come first.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the time. So like when like the symbiosis of the film, every aspect of it is working to make the characterization better, and the score and the soundtrack is helping the character, then I think it's succeeding.
Yeah, because like you can still like have a good film with like just sort of like music that like is meant to manipulate, but the more and more you can sort of like hide it and like make it feel natural. I mean, like it's all manipulation in the end, or manipulation is an evil word, but in the way it is, like. But I think the more and more you can make it feel natural, I guess. Like I have several examples, but I want to hear from Daniel Sanchez of like when do you think music, like how do you do music well in film? I guess.
I mean, I think all you guys are saying things that I totally agree with. Like I like Aaron's example. Like that's more of a I would say it's a more playful way to use music, and it's a lot more of a direct way. I do think that's really cool. But what you guys are saying too, capturing a character is also something I think if you can do that with music, then that's very impressive. I actually don't feel like I see that too often, but when I do, it's pretty stunning. One thing though that I think is still pretty good, is just when a music captures the environment well. So for example, yeah, so like in this movie, I said that it's kind of sounded like it was manipulating me sometimes, but I wouldn't say that if I liked the romance more. Like I would just say, you know what, it just suits it. It's like, if you're reading a book, the prose suits the romantic plot that's happening.
Yeah.
So, and I think that can be really good. Like, I don't know, I think like, I don't know, one thing that comes to mind, I think, of music and movies is, Tarantino does a pretty good job. Like, I think it's both. You could say you could argue, it's how the characters feel, and it's also like a really good way to set the tone.
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And I don't know, like another movie, just random, but like I think like Birdman does a really good job. I really like how they have. And there's so much variation. Like you got the drums that first of all, it's kind of unique. It's kind of novel. Like I don't hear this sort of vibe in a movie very often. Mm-hmm. So that was, I really like when a soundtrack can bring you to a unique place. Like, because that is kind of a unique place. I don't get to go to that place very often. Like this theater with like these cynical characters, but then you also have like the dreamy part too, right? And I feel like it makes the music feel so colorful, makes the movie feel so wide. So I don't know, that's one example.
It captures the mental like rhythm that character is going through, Birdman is going through. Just like that like almost anxiety filled beat that's going on and on and on. Something that I sort of saw with that too is like a movie like Suspiria, the original one. I haven't seen the new one. Want to. But it has this great score by Goblin, which is this krautrock band, I'm pretty sure. Don't kill me, internet. But it's like it's a really fantastic score of like have you seen Suspiria?
No, I haven't.
I think you guys would I think you guys will all like it, but it has a score that's like dun 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 dun. Hey, it's just like super super pounding and like it's just louder than everything else. Yeah, but it's like great music and it's like super super like whoa. Like I was like jamming out to it in the theater because I was like, this is like I love stuff that makes it feel high adrenaline. When there's certain sequences in films where it's like, oh yeah, like I feel this, that really great feeling, but also captures the character. Like the more and more you can get of like all of what we're saying, like the more and more I think it does it well. Like I think Boogie Nights is such a great use of like one of the great like music movies of like that first shot of like the sort of pool party scene of everyone coming in. You sort of follow Roller Girl and like all that. Then you get the great firecracker scene in that movie where it's Alfred Molina like high on like crack or something and like just fireworks are going off and then like I wish I had Jesse's girl just like it's like what the hell is this and then I was recently like listening to this thing about James Murphy. Because he scored a movie, actually. James Murphy of LCD Sound System. He scored a movie called Greenberg, which is a Noah Baumbach movie. And he talked a lot about, like, when you want to talk about, like, taking it from a musician's point of view is, like, really interesting. Because I've seen what he said echoed in statements from, like, Sufjan Stevens, who did the Call Me By Your Name soundtrack. And they're like, yeah, we fucking hate music when people use music in movies because it fucking sucks. I feel like I'm manipulated. I feel like it's just a sellout. Wow. And like in certain senses it could be that way, but I looked at those two movies and like what do they do different? And it is that sense of character. It's like when Sufjan is singing Mystery of Love or Few Devices or Visions of Gideon, it really is like how Elio feels and like it's really of the character, I think. And like James Murphy was talking about like what would Greenberg listen to, how like what kind of music, and like he wanted to make his style of music like it was like a lot of Harry Nilsson stuff and like a lot of that kind of like era. He was like, I want to make my songs sound as like invisible as like the actual songs from that era we used in the film. I'm like, that's so cool, like I know it's like the common example of like sort of like, oh yeah, this is like sort of a pandering kind of music, but like Marvel movies and stuff like early days I would say like phase like 1 or 2
Back in Black for Iron Man, that kind of stuff.
No. I was thinking about like stuff like Captain America, the first Avenger, whatever, and it just had like like you could like listen to those like scores and think of like there's certain tracks that like really like fit the mood and like those are the best ones, but then sometimes or like Avengers, nothing's memorable about this, and it feels like like, oh, it's a sad scene. Like, let's sort of just
make sad music.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a thing. I actually watched a really, really good video essay a long time ago. I love watching video essays on film.
This is the Marvel Symphonic Universe.
Marvel Symphonic Universe. And he talked about how it just lacked substance because it didn't do anything to aid the movie or the characters or the plot or anything. But I do have to admit, like, in the last couple of movies especially, they've gotten so much better. They've taken like the Avengers theme specifically.
Yeah.
And the way they use it in something like Infinity War, incredible.
Yeah, no,
Really
now
well done.
now it's a lot better.
Yeah,
they've
so
gotten
much
a lot better. Marvel, we have to do a Marvel movie one of these days.
I know.
Jeez.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. I'm just preaching here of like what I think about music and movies because I'm very passionate about the subject. But yeah, I just hate scores when you listen to them and you're like, when was this even used in the movie? Like just like that Hans Zimmer atmospheric shit. Get that shit out of here. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, you use the same synth plugins for like every single fucking movie
And
like, trailer. Yeah, like get the out of here, man. Out of here.
Yeah,
sorry,
those
are my very strong thoughts.
No, because like the thing is, he like especially.
I'm not
with
gonna
Hans
apologize
Zimmer,
for my damn views on things. God damn it!
But that's the thing, because Hans Zimmer did it first, and the way he did it really fit. Like, if you look at Inception, fit the tone of that one. If you look at like the
Inception's
stuff
best at its like most recognizable though.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. But it's everybody who decided to copy afterwards.
Yeah, okay.
That really kind of busted everything wide open and made it all seem so generic. So now every time you see a suspense movie, you're like, why is Hans Zimmer the scoring it?
Yeah.
When he's not.
Yeah, no, Hans Zimmer has like a whole entire studio that just goes by Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't score all the movies
I did
his
not
like
know
name
that.
is. Yeah, he just has like I'll guide it. No, less notes. Okay, less notes. No, take out these instruments. Or actually no, put them back in, but then like let's change the levels just so it just like sounds like
there's
one
nothing there.
instrument.
Yeah. It's
Less
just a
notes.
drone.
Huh?
And now more less notes.
Now less notes.
And now more less notes.
Now put a one. Now put a one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say what you said about like it aids the character and stuff, like Birdman and everything. One of my favorite movies, Punch Drunk Love.
Oh yeah.
Like that has a fantastic soundtrack. I love
100%.
that. I listen
John
to
Bryan,
that like
definitely.
for fun. Like
Yeah.
because like it has like there's that one scene where like everything's just going on like crazy in the warehouse.
Yeah.
And then the music is just it makes me feel so claustrophobic and it's like
Yes.
no god, like the first time I watched it I was having like anxiety in that scene because it's like I feel so vulnerable right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the parts where they're just walking down the street and it's like so peaceful and like it's just piano.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it goes back and forth so well and it fits like it's exactly how Barry feels in the movie.
PTA, amazing scores all the time.
PTA is so good with music.
I mean, he got Johnny Greenwood to do his scores, to be his go-to composer. Jesus Christ.
And then, I feel like PTA is really good with scores, and then I think like someone like Wes Anderson is someone that we haven't talked about yet with like more like like licensed music and stuff. Because all his
Less so though recently.
Yeah, recently not so much, but in his older stuff,
Older.
like that stuff, like his movies are all like very homey and like about family, and all his music really
Fits.
helps
Yeah.
fit that.
Yeah,
really,
because
really well.
what's his first one called again?
Bottle Rocket.
Bottle Rocket?
Yeah. Oh no, sorry.
Rushmore.
Rushmore. I was thinking Rushmore. Second movie. Sorry, but yeah, Rushmore's soundtrack.
Pretty good.
Really good.
Ooh La La at the end is like one of the most like iconic.
Oh yeah, definitely.
At
That's
least
what
for
I
our
mean-
generation.
That's what I mean by like ending songs.
Yeah.
Where
It just kind
it's
of
like a really good
fades.
staple and like a period at the end of everything.
I love that last scene.
Oh, Wes Anderson is totally
amazing.
like he does some wacky shit like Life Aquatic. He has all those like Portuguese David Bowie covers.
Portuguese. Yeah.
Daniel, what's your favorite use of like either favorite score or favorite use of music in like a film?
Oh man, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Because there's so many, but
Yeah, there's a lot of good.
like what jumps out at you?
I don't know. Like it's kind of a shame, but I have not seen some of the movies you guys are saying have this amazing use of music. Like I haven't seen Scott Pilgrim, and I need to see that.
Scott
I
Pilgrim's
know.
so good.
Everyone says that. I need to see it. I really just have to say that, like, for me right now, by the way, Punch Drunk Love is an excellent choice, too.
Yeah.
I don't know, probably Birdman, though. I'm just thinking about that. That's stuck in my head. I think that was an excellent use of music. I really do feel like one thing that really makes it pop for me is that it's not just accomplishing, like, the goal of getting you in the characters' heads, but I think it's also pretty unique, and I think that that is something I really value. You know, like I really value getting fresh perspectives in movies. Like I don't always like, for example, like I don't know, like a movie like I, Tonya, I think is like a pretty good movie, but like it uses some good songs.
Yeah.
But I've been there before, and so it's not quite as good to me as hearing something fresh. And I think Birdman it did everything right and it was fresh. So that's to me, it's really, really
Love
good.
that. Are you a big fan of something like Whiplash?
Yeah, I actually think Whiplash was really, really good. I forgot about that. That was a great use of music, actually.
That was
I
a great
think
year for drumming and
that
music.
was a great use of music.
Drums
Yeah.
and music. Yeah.
I think music in film is like, I mean, you go back to like Star Wars, like these huge themes, Indiana Jones, like they really are these like really emotional, like I think music's one of the most like, even more so than film, it's one of the most like emotional mediums you can sort of have. Like I remember someone saying like, like there is a film director talking to a musician. They're like, yeah, I envy what you do, because what you do in 3 to 4 minutes, I have to spend like 2 hours building up to, of that emotional release of like music.
Yeah.
And like, I think it's just one of those things that can really sort of like affect you, and like can really like, it is a tool that like, if you put something, you really have to be like wary of using it. I think like, because so many oftentimes it is like abused and misused in a lot of films. So yeah, I'll say that to sort of cap our discussion about music. Oh, here's a sip of soda.
We're almost done, by the way. We're probably only have what, maybe less than a fifth. We're really close.
Really close. So now, we talked a lot about music and film, but I want to sort of bring it back and do a little exercise with you guys. Okay.
Alright.
Yeah, we're gonna make you do push-ups. I hope you're ready.
I
Alright.
think a bunch of soda.
I know, none of us are ready. How are you with the Kickstart?
It's almost done.
Has it been like a enjoyable and okay experience?
I think because I'm pretty sure there's artificial sugar in here. It's been getting a little bit less good, but I can deal with it.
I wanna do something that we like to call the fizziness rating
Yeah.
of the Soda Society. So what we are going to do is we're going to rate the movie on terms of fizziness. The movie and whatever beverage you're drinking. In your case, it's the Kickstart. And the fizziness scale is from 0 to 100. 100 is max fizziness. This is Mentos and Diet Coke kind of fizzy. It's champagne in the ass kind of fizzy. It's champagne in the ass. And then zero is completely flat.
Okay.
It's more than flat. It's licking. Licking salt
Off the road.
off the road.
What? Salt is inherently fizzy, though.
Is it?
Is it?
I feel like
All
salt's
right,
more
you want me to get
fizzy
some
than-
salt, Aaron? You want to drink some salt?
'Cause it
I would
burns?
describe
But
as
you have
being
too
more
much?
fizzy than just looking like sugar.
I don't know about that.
This is a controversial opinion that we'll do the Aaron Miller
You mean,
salt
like,
test.
you mean like it burns, like the way fizziness burns?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Okay,
If you have
that's
too
a
much
little
salt in your
better.
mouth?
All right,
Thank you,
we're-
Daniel.
Let me tell you, for future listeners, at some point within this year, we're going to do the Aaron Miller spice
Salt
test.
Yeah.
Spice test.
Spice
Where we
test.
give him like 5 different spices and he has to rate them on fizziness.
Fizziness, I know. Just completely different medium.
yeah. But yeah, so that's basically it. And because you're our guest, we'll let you go first.
Okay, so like literally, how fizzy is this? Now
It doesn't have to
God.
be. It's a mixture of physical, emotional, and spiritual.
Oh,
fizziness.
for this?
Fizziness.
Okay, they
Street of
actually
life
kind
is
of
so busy to be.
they kind of line up for me. Like I'm feeling about like a 25 now.
Wow.
Oh.
Because it's lost some of the fizziness, and I've lost my for this drink. Like I liked it a lot more at the beginning.
Man.
In terms of the movie, I feel like it's kind of hard for me to say because like I didn't come away like unhappy, and I do have like a good memory of it. But okay, I'll say this. I would only give it a 50. I feel like it's being kind of harsh,
Wow.
but I think it's something that will age well with me, and I will like more and more because really when I look back on it, like I like it. It's just when I watched it, like I do remember how I felt, and there were times where I was
That's
like a little
fair.
unhappy with some of the narrative choices.
Sure.
But yeah,
That's very fair. That's a great score. Yeah, I think I'm validating our guess. Yeah. Okay. Aaron Miller, your fizziness score for RC Cola.
Fizziness score for RC Cola, 99.
Wow.
This is a superb cola.
Nice.
It's a Royal Crown Cola.
Wow. Shut up.
Business for the film Nick and Norah's Infinite Playlist, I'll give it a... Right now I'm just going to go 75. Looking back on it, I enjoyed it. In the moment, I was like, maybe I didn't enjoy it so much.
Mm-hmm.
But like thinking about it and discussing it, I'm just like, okay, I see value in it. And I did enjoy
The gum.
the overall package. I had a really good time with.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Okay.
Jared Lindsay, your fizziness score for RC Cola.
90. For sure. One of the better sodas.
We've had on this podcast.
Probably the best one we've had on the podcast.
Probably the best.
Man. Dude, that
What a jump
cherry,
from Diet Coke to RC Cola.
Thank goodness. Yeah, I love RC Cola. And then for Nick and Norah's Infinite Playlist, man, I really enjoyed that film. And it's like, it's one of those feel-good ones where I kind of feel a little guilty about liking it because it's so feel-good. You know what I mean?
That was a burp.
You're okay. So I'm going to give Nick and Norah's Infinite Playlist an 87.5.
Wow, nice.
Very nice. All right, my fizziness for RC Cola. Fantastic drink. I think it's one of the best sodas out there.
I'm not gonna finish right now.
Heck, I'll match Aaron. 99.
Wow.
Heck yeah.
Wow,
For fizziness.
sweet.
It's gonna stay
That's
with me.
great.
Like, I don't feel as bad drinking this.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Daniel. Last time we had Shasta
Black
dark
cherry.
Black
Dark
cherry.
cherry. Oh, God.
Jesus Christ,
That was
that
the
was
hardest.
Awful.
it
So
just
hard.
like because I think the fizziness ended at a certain point.
Yeah.
And it was
did.
just, can we do our posthumous scores for that too? Because we
Yeah.
didn't give it last time.
Yeah.
By the way, Shasta Black Cherry, 24 for fizziness. Nightmare Before Christmas, 68 for
Okay.
fizziness. Nick and Norah's Infinite Playlist, I give it a solid 79 for fizziness.
Sounds good.
Nice.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Really quick, Shasta.
25.
Yeah.
Easily 25.
Nightmare.
I give it like a 60. I think it kind of fits around John Carpenter's Halloween. I appreciate what it's done, what it like allowed other people to do. Mainly the same director, Tim Burton. He just got better with age. And yeah, it's a solid film.
Aaron.
Black cherry Shasta, 30.
Generous.
5.
Very
Oh,
generous.
very
Generous. Like I'm not. I'll drink it again if I have to. Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm gonna go pretty high and say 80
Wow.
because I feel like it's the kind of movie you can put on. You don't have to pay all your attention to
Any
it.
time of the year.
Like for me, fizziness, like soda's not an event. Soda's just something you drink. Like it's there, and for me,
Okay.
high fizziness, an 80 for fizziness in a movie is just like a movie you can enjoy solidly.
That's
anytime.
respectable, for sure.
Like-
I'm a little interested in why you guys gave it kind of a lower score than I thought you guys would give it, because I don't
Nightmare?
know. Yeah,
For Nightmare or Shasta?
For Nightmare, not Shasta. It doesn't sound that good.
I think for me, it's like, how often will I return to this movie?
Oh, okay.
And I don't think I'll return to it very often on my own. But if someone's there and watching it, I'll for sure watch it.
Okay.
Like,
Fair
I think
point.
60s is like, it's still like, it's still a fair score. Like, if I didn't like a movie, I'll definitely go 40 and below.
Yeah.
At least for me.
Yeah,
Shasta sucks, by the way.
it does.
Just like getting that out there.
And for me, I think, like, if you look and compare Nightmare to something like a movie further down the line, like Coraline, the amount that they come in terms of, like, stop-motion animation, plots, character, that kind of thing, Nightmare it's simple. And it's good.
It's really good.
But it's, like, pretty simple. It's short and it's sweet.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I just think, like, that medium comes a long way in the like next 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, the narrative isn't too strong with Nightmare, and like, yeah, that's sort of what I'm, I guess, like, mostly looking for. But then, like, I'll definitely put Nightmare on like the TV if I'm doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I'm calling out damn Christmas angels on the damn
Christmas table.
Christmas table. Heck, I'll listen to some of Nightmare's soundtrack. You know what? I'll bump to a solid 69 Hey. Because that soundtrack is really great, actually.
The soundtrack is great.
Soundtrack is fantastic. That gets extra points from me. Okay, now for the exercise. It's time for a little playlist your life.
Oh, wow.
I want you guys to sort of, oh God, how should I even do this? Okay. Dabba. Imagine your life as a movie, or like a relevant part of your life as a movie. Sort of, I want you guys to sort of tell a story of like a relevant time in your life that like could, that felt like cinematic to you, or you can project it as cinematic and sort of come up with like what kind of music will be playing during that, like sort of soundtrack it yourself of like, doesn't have to be like actual like real music, but it could be like, no, I would definitely have like this like really like nice part of like, whatnot playing, like a little score playing around here, like a little like, really tiny. You really do it any kind of way. It's just freeform at this point. But like imagine your life, you're sort of soundtracked by different things, because I do this a lot with my own life of like, how certain like moments feel to me of like,
what kind of music?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Whether it be like from bands, it's usually for me, it's like usually a specific kind of like band or music, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, should I go first?
Yeah. Help us out.
I wasn't expecting that.
Well, I don't mind going if you want. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, because I do want to get this out of the way, because I feel like I am in a weird place with music. But I do feel like the songs we pick, I feel like are often like songs that you kind of want to soundtrack your life. Not all the time, but a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. And actually, to recontextualize it, what kind of like music will be playing for your life right now? Like the music of your life right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I'll answer that in a second, but to answer the first question, what if I'm trying to imagine, like, where do I want to soundtrack my life?
Yeah.
It's really funny, but like I wanted it to be like that Muzak stuff where it's like really no emotion, like very little emotion. It's very pleasant. It's like, I'm just in a groove. Cause like, I don't know, like
that's so good.
I can really see this happening.
Yeah, so can I.
I've been like in this weird place where I'm like, hey, you know what? There's like so much drama. There's in art.
Yeah.
And I just kind of feel like, hey, like if I look at my life, is it that dramatic? Is it like that intense? And for me, I don't really want it to be, and it hasn't really been. I've been I do want to just like have a good groove. I just want to like feel good. Yeah. So I don't know. That's why I've been listening to like the anti music. I feel like it's a little bit like that, because it's like it's kind of like it's just like you got the jazz player, and you got like these little drums playing.
Can you set up a scene for us, like like give us a scene from your movie?
Like okay, like I mean, it's not gonna be a good movie. But, like, it's just gonna be like.
I'd watch it, Daniel.
Yeah, I'd watch it too.
I'm just like sitting there and like my dad's like watching TV. I'm like I'm gonna walk my dog. And then the music starts playing. Yeah. And like I get up and I'm like, maybe like
I'm gonna put backing tracks to when we tell this story.
Yes.
Ideally, I'm like really happy. I'm not always that happy, but I want to be. So in this scene, I'm happy, and I'm like, hey, come on, Lindsay, like get over here. Let's go on this walk. We're just walking down the street. We're just walking around. And,
that's so sweet.
And and I'm looking around and I wave hi to somebody, and they're like, hey, and that's it. That's like kind of what I wanted to be like right now. Honestly, that's me. So
I love that.
I love that too.
Can you everyone for this, just send me what tracks you want.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Send it to me by tonight so I can like edit it all.
You got it.
Okay, yeah. I want to hear. I want to save Aaron's for last. Is that okay?
I need a lot of time.
I get you.
I got mine.
Okay, you want to go?
Yeah. So like to answer that first question of like when that's happened, I've actually experienced that like 4 times, and it's every time I've driven across the country.
Oh.
Because it's usually just me, my car, my dad.
Yeah.
And it's like, for me, it's over 3 days, and it feels like longer because it's a lot of driving. But you're driving through we drove from California to North Carolina back, and that's like almost 40 hours of driving.
Yeah.
And in my head, I always contextualize it as like that road trip montage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you see like snapshots of me and my dad eating barbecue in Texas, and like you get like the picture snap and like the picture like turning and like falling into a pile of like a bunch of pictures of like a bunch of places.
What are the things
we've
would you guys be
ate.
doing? To build this montage up for
Yeah,
us.
so it's like going to the Grand Canyon, and like my dad is like, take a picture of me next to the Grand Canyon. I'm like, okay, and I just taking pictures of my dad at the Grand Canyon, and then he's like, okay, cool. Or like, let's stop. You see this tree? It's like a picture next to like this tree, or like the Mississippi River.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stop here for like landmarks or that kind of thing, or like places that we've eaten, or like we just take these like really quick detours. And the food, oh my gosh, the food across the country is like amazing. I've had so much good food on just those drives, and the music that I feel like would be playing would be like, I can't remember the name of the song, but it's from Brother Bear.
Oh my gosh, I know that song.
You know
Only Daddy will know that
Yeah,
song.
right? Isn't that a good song?
Yeah. If your life felt like that song, I'd be like, you have it pretty good.
Oh, exactly. Right? And that's what it felt like. It's in Brother Bear and it's also in Matilda. Those are the two movies that I know it from. Do you not know what song I'm talking about?
I've never seen.
Oh my
either
gosh.
movie.
You haven't seen either movie?
Brother Bear is a classic.
Brother Bear is a classic.
Joaquin Phoenix is in that film.
What?
I'm pretty sure.
That's weird.
Check it. Yeah.
But that's the song that I like automatically think that like fits that montage
Yeah.
perfectly. Is
That
that
is
song.
so cool.
Right?
I think that's
good.
really cool.
That's what you guys send me.
I will.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is what you were looking for.
I love it. I love it more than anything. Like, okay, like in my life, there's certain things where it's sort of like eureka moments, like where I've been like, it sounds.
Phoenix is Kenai. He's the main bear.
Wow,
the main bear.
That's insane.
That is really
like,
weird.
There are moments where like traveling, 100% Jared with traveling. Like,
Yeah.
I remember like going through like Oregon, and Carrie and Lowell just came out by Sufjan Stevens, and some heavy family stuff was going on. So I remember like just like going through those like green hills and like, you know, sort of by the coast, and like everything felt like, and it was really foggy in Oregon at the time we went. I think it was like around spring or winterish. I forgot. But the album's been out for like probably a year at that time, whatever. But then like I just remember like sort of seeing the rolling hills and like, man, this album was like recorded like about this place, and it like really fits. So whenever I think of that album, I hear it there, and I remember like a really like cool, like if I were to do a scene of my movie, it would be like the first time like little Jonathan gets like a small iPod, right? He's just like listening to music like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
And then like it's an iPod Touch. We can't do iPod Classic. I'm not that cool. It's an iTouch. And I specifically remember one of my favorite like memories of like I was like in freshman year of like high school, right? And then I didn't know like, and then like I like download music from like, you know, LimeWire or like just I used to do a Blogspot thing. You like you were Blogspotting. You did the thing of like
I would
going
get
on Blog-
stuff from Blogspot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Blogspot.
So I got the Eternal
LimeWire.
Sunshine like soundtrack back when I was like obsessed with that movie, and then I downloaded the music onto my iPod, and I remember like, what if I try this? I was like in the gym, and I was walking out of the gym. It was like after school, and I listened to I listened to the theme of Eternal Sunshine. Dun, dun. It's like really like, you know, it's really harmless, but it's like really like. I remember just like getting outside the gym and sort of walking around, and like my life felt like a movie. You know, it's like those moments of like clarity of like, wow, like I see my life in like CinemaScope.
Yeah.
You know, it feels a lot like wider than it is. So that was a really important time for like music. That's when I was like, whoa, life could be like a movie. What? Life's great, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
It's life affirming.
Yeah. But I guess like the music that soundtrack my life now, man, I would just do like, I've been on the ropes lately. I'll just like times where it's like, sometimes it's like it's peaceful and whatnot, but sometimes I'm just like I'm on one, so I'll just have like literally like crowd rock or something. I was listening to Can Future Days, which is a great like crowd rock album of like sort of prodding like guitars and like drums and like and but it's also really pretty, but also gets like distorted like God, like do you know that song Jennifer by Faust? Do you know that song?
I
Jennifer.
know
I'm not
Faust.
sure. I mean, I know the
Yeah.
I know the Can album, but
Yeah. There's a great song called Jennifer by Faust. It's like, Jennifer, your hair is burning. Something like
Does
that.
he sound like Kermit?
That's just my impression of like
No, I
all
know.
crowd rock bands. But I would like, it's a really pretty song, but gets like distorted like right away, but still like a jam. That's what I love about like that genre of music. I would have that playing over me, just like, what would I be doing? I'd just be like washing my face and I'd be looking at myself in the mirror.
oh my god,
You know, and just like I'm like, it's like I love. This has happened to me, and like I want to capture this on film of like you look at a picture long enough, and soon it just gets like more and more distorted the longer you look at it. Have you ever felt that?
Yeah.
I remember like editing photos for like one of my friends. Of like I took a photo shoot of her, and then like, I remember just like looking at her face a bunch, and then like I was like going like really, like I zoomed really in because like there are like details I had to like get like you know soft and whatnot, and then I just looked at her face and I'm like, this is fucking weird. Look at all these shapes, like everything's melting in my brain right now. I'm like, that's oh, that's a little gruesome, but you know, you gotta have a little gruesomeness to like music and you know the Bear soundtrack. That's what I would do. That's what I would do
Okay.
right now.
Aaron Miller.
Can't hide. Can't hide.
So,
Give me that damn soda.
so
I'm holding a dog right now. So it's helping me drink the soda.
So like John said, you like if you view your life through stereoscope or cinemascope. I feel like I've always sort of done that, and like I make playlists on
Based off of
Spotify based on like how I feel.
Oh, yeah.
At specific moments, and like one of my most iconic playlists is titled Whale.
Oh,
God.
very iconic.
But like that's just all about. That's basically the thesis playlist of my life.
Yeah, of course.
what's on it?
Yeah, can you just pull it up and just give us some like
Okay,
recs
I'll
right
give
now?
you some.
oh boy.
Or even just a couple would be okay. Like I
Yeah.
probably could guess.
Aaron Miller playlists are pretty legendary. He has one
So-
called Drive and then a bunch of like Japanese letters after it.
That just says Drive in Japanese.
Wow.
So the first
So
song
good.
on Whale is Take My Hand by Matt Berry.
Fuck.
Daniel Johnston's Gotta Get You Into My Life.
Gotta get you.
Steal My Sunshine by Len.
My God. Bring out the big one.
The Start of Something by Boxtrot.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
So, you know, it's all about like sort of longing. Best I Can by Michael Cera.
Oh yeah. Michael Cera's solo album.
Yeah.
What an experience.
So yeah, but there's like different things. I have like songs about like just hanging out with friends, like, and they're all dancey because I with you guys just feel like dancing, you know.
I will say, yeah.
You have some hair on your.
I have hair everywhere.
This shutting dog.
But is it weird? Like, I have like a specific day that I didn't really think about in terms of music, but as you guys were talking, I like started thinking about it more and more. But the last day of our last Joshua Tree camping trip,
Oh.
because we had to drive back, and whenever we're on these road trips, we have a road trip playlist as well.
Yeah.
So whenever
We take playlisting very seriously.
very seriously.
Jared has like 50 playlists
Wow.
with like custom art and everything. It's fantastic.
So like driving back from like on a even if it's like a 2-hour drive from Joshua Tree, like even that with your friends, like it's all music that you guys all put on the playlist together. And then when we got back from Joshua Tree, it was my first big date with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And we went to LA for like a Echo Park Rising, which is a small type of music festival type thing. But on our way there, like I showed her Strawberry Swing by Coldplay,
Wow.
and that song has sort of become like this big thing in our relationship. Because it's like, it's such a sweet, you know the lyrics, like it's such a perfect day, blah blah blah, and then
Sort of describe like, you know, what you were seeing like on that day and like, how it made you feel.
oh man, well I showed her in the car.
Technicolor.
I showed her when we were driving there in my backup car. But like that line came on. It's such a perfect day, and she like looked at me and I looked at her, and it was like, okay.
We get it.
And then we went and we found a parking spot after like forever, and we walked by Echo Park, which is a really pretty park.
Yeah.
For the most part. The bathrooms are disgusting. And then we saw this like punk band perform, and that was really cute because we were like the only couple in there.
Oh.
And everyone else was just standing, like that like classic just crossing arms, like bobbing head type thing, which you should never do at a concert. To all viewers, all listeners, have fun when you listen to music. And Jen and I were
Thanks, Dad.
Jen and I were like dancing and having a good time to this band we never heard. And then we were just walking around Echo Park, the area after that, and then like there's this bridge that just looks over a street. Like it's nothing really special, but it was a golden hour. And so like, and we were walking, and we just like sort of naturally stopped and just looked over the bridge, and like it was a really, really special moment. Like it was like we both cited that moment as like a special moment after the fact. And then I was hungry, so I got some pizza from this place.
Wow.
And then there was a band playing out front of the pizza place, and I was dancing to the band while I was eating my pizza. And she thought that was really cute, and she's always like, "Oh, I love it when you're dancing, eating your pizza."
Oh, that's all.
Yeah,
That's cute. That's really cute.
That is cute.
Yeah.
And then I think a big thing about music and movies is like, if a movie's gonna make a big deal about having music, there's like, it's big to have a silent moment too.
Yeah.
And then like the end of the night, we got boba near her house, and then like that would be the silent moment. Like it's very calm, you know.
Yeah.
Just relaxing.
That's so nice. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, cinematic.
Can I ask a question actually? But like, okay, so going back to the first playlist you mentioned, that has a lot to do with longing. Do you feel like it's still just as relevant as before? Has it been less relevant since you got your girlfriend?
It has been less relevant. I haven't listened to it
Okay,
wow.
I see. Because that's what I was expecting
about
actually.
2 months.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it would be hard for me to feel that way after like that
Yeah.
day you mentioned, like that kind of thing.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that.
You know, I think to sort of sum everything up, it's like the reason why I think people like Nick and Norah, the reason why I think, you know, all this is like, it really is just like, it sort of builds like a part of like our world, like music and film. It's better be recording.
Oh, it is.
Music and movies and like all these kind of like whatever you put in your life, it sort of like really creates like, it makes your world feel a lot more special, a lot more magical than anything. And like there's something about like sharing like a movie with a friend or like music with a friend. I'll give a personal anecdote right now about my good friend Daniel Sanchez right here. Back when we were in high school and stuff, when I didn't listen to a lot of music, I'll say like these are the kind of bands Daniel Sanchez was recommending to me as like a high schooler in 2013, like stuff like Sufjan Stevens, Mac DeMarco, Deer Hunter, you know, all these like big names that I didn't know about because I didn't read anything, but Daniel was listening to a lot of it. But one of the most like memorable moments is like, it was really funny, and like Wells like still gets on one of our close friends. He's like,
for everything.
Yeah. But he was like, dude, where's my playlist? He was like, where's my playlist, man? Like, but I remember Daniel gave me this like flash drive, of just like, it was not a lot of music, but I remember specifically on that flash drive, I'm pretty sure and like this flash drive was important because it had Beach House on it, it had Deer Hunter on it, maybe a little Interpol. But it also had a Little Joy on it. Do you remember that band?
I do, yeah. That stuff was my shit. Yeah.
That stuff was the shit, man. And like that formed so much of like how I listen to music and like, you know, my musical tastes at that time, and like it made like that second half of high school and into college and like into now like so much more vivid than anything. So yeah, I'm really happy that Daniel Sanchez is on this music episode because he hates this. But Daniel Sanchez is like one of my favorite like people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's funny because I like barely listen to these bands anymore.
Which is really funny. Yeah.
it's crazy because Daniel influenced you a lot, and I
Yeah.
didn't really get into this kind of music until college,
Mhm.
and it was because you would listen to it a lot,
Mhm.
so it rubbed off on me. So like you're my grandfather.
That's
And
I'm
I'm
your
privileged.
And I'm unrelated. I listen to totally different music for
Yeah.
the most part.
Which is
That's okay.
fantastic.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But there's some
Dude, if it's like the Brother Bear song.
It's a Brother Bear
it's
song.
pro- it's
See,
like-
there's like a
Brother Bear.
Yeah,
there's
what
like-
if I take it from you, man?
Whoa.
I know. Imagine
It's
that.
completely done.
But yeah, music is so crazy. Like,
Yeah.
and there's so much we need to talk about more and more about it. But yeah, there's so much in there. I mean, like even I remember listening to Hannah Diamond's High, like in the house with like I think Faye was playing it, and then she was also playing Charlie XCX like Vroom Vroom.
Wow.
And I just remember like. I feel like, and I'm not saying this is like causation, but I feel like Thomas started listening to a lot of like that kind of music.
Thomas listened
After-
to Charlie XCX because of that.
Yeah, 100%, and Hannah Diamond
That
too.
is cool. I must say that is cool.
Yeah, Daniel, you're very influential.
Influential.
More so than you realize that
Yeah.
you
Oh
give
my
yourself
gosh.
credit
Here
for.
we go.
I'm not even gonna look at you.
Hey,
I'm
I'm just doing my thing. you
Yeah,
know?
but that's why you're here today.
Oh, my God.
Whatever I have a
Well,
problem.
thank you, John. Yeah, thank you, here.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
It's really nice,
Yeah,
I like to hear this stuff.
I'm glad you're a part of this world, this Soul Society world. We gotta have you back.
Yeah.
For
We
sure.
gotta have you
Yeah, I'd
back.
love to be back.
Well, with
yeah.
maybe a movie that you wanna watch. That's the same thing I wanna. That's the next thing I wanna do of like inviting guests and like giving them like what kind of movie do you want to watch.
For sure.
But still having our choices like be relevant. Of
You
course.
ready to kill this thing?
Yeah, I'm ready to kill it.
I should
Yeah.
kill this too.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And while he's finishing that, you guys ready for next week's movie and soda?
100%.
Okay.
Jared Lindsay's choice.
And special
Wait.
guest. And special guest. I
Whoa.
know, big moves.
Big
Ready?
moves.
So I'm gonna do the soda first.
Okay.
Aaron, what soda is it?
Did you tell me? Coke?
No. You said it earlier.
I'm stumped.
I
feel dumb.
We're gonna be drinking
Oh
Ramune.
no!
Huh?
We're gonna be drinking Ramune.
Oh, Ramune.
Oh my gosh,
No
she actually
way.
got
Yes, we
it?
are.
No, we are
Wow.
gonna do a.
Yeah, we're gonna be drinking that.
No way, we're gonna do.
The special guest is
Uh-huh.
Angie Duran.
Duran. Ah!
And
The movie.
The movie is gonna be Hayao Miyazaki's Whisper of the Heart.
Wow.
It's not his movie, but yeah.
Yeah,
it's
no,
close.
I know. Produced by.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
there you
around.
go.
He was around for it.
Written by Hayao Miyazaki.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
gonna be the
That's a big
combination.
It
one.
was anime and Ramune.
And
And I
Ramune.
got it right.
We've
Yeah.
been needing to do an anime episode, and I'm glad to do this one.
Yeah,
That's gonna
I'm
be
glad it's
exciting.
Whisper of the Heart.
I'm excited.
So,
And Angie Duran, can you explain who Angie Duran is?
Angie Duran is another person we went to high school with. She is an artist and she does a lot of freelance work for background things. She's had internships at, I believe, Cartoon Network. She's done a little bit of stuff for Nickelodeon.
She has like a booth at like
at
Anime
Expo every
and all
year.
that. Amazing artist.
And when I asked her, she was like, "Well, I mean, like, I don't know too much about Japanese animation." I was like, "Just watch the movie and like talk to us about it." And I think she's gonna be an interesting perspective to have for that movie. Plus, Whisper of the Heart is one of my favorite films of all time. It's completely heartwarming.
Yeah.
Is the best
100%.
word to describe it. So I can't wait to talk about it with you guys.
Can't wait to talk about it.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Sign
Yeah.
off?
Yeah, sign off. So, Daniel, at the end of every Soul Society episode, we have no set sign off, but it usually ends with us doing a little chant. But I'm going to sort of change it up because we need to change it up.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So we don't get stale.
Yeah, so we don't get stale. We're going to go. We're gonna do like a little round robin of like you say one word, then I say the next word, and
Oh,
Daniel
jeez.
says, and then we're gonna just try to. We're gonna let's pick a song and then let's do like a little bit of that song. What's a great song we all know? What's a great?
Mr. Brightside.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
Do you know that song, Daniel?
I do,
Are they
but I
killers?
don't know if I'm gonna get the lyric right. We can
You
try.
know what? This is sort of dumb. Can everyone just individually sign off and then give a recommendation? You know, like I do this a lot in my real life. Like you gotta listen to this album. Like
Okay.
just give the most heartfelt, like unabashed, like you're jacking yourself off recommendation of
Wow.
of like a music or band that like you don't care anyone like people have to listen to this. We'll start, and it could be like anything.
You got it.
Anything. Starting out, and then it's individual. So we're gonna start with Aaron first.
Oh, okay. Easy. You gotta listen to Time and Place by Cara Bonito. If you're in your early to mid 20s, you're lost and confused after college graduation, it's the perfect album.
Because so is she.
And she is the perfect lead singer for you.
Wonderful.
This is Daniel, and my recommendation is I think everyone should listen to the song "Battery" by Metallica. Okay, weird choice, but it's a freaking bombastic song, and I feel like Metallica is like so underrated, kind of, because I feel like people don't really like them anymore in general. But that song is just like kick ass, and like I don't think people listen to it enough. So
I love that. And Jared?
Awesome. I'm Jared, and my recommendation is definitely going to be the Living Room album from Lawrence. They're probably one of my favorite bands of all time in the last year or so, and they're just really good at capturing like a live band feel with horns and really great jazzy, funky vocals, and making you feel happy.
Listen, bro. You gotta listen to LCDs. My recommendation, wholeheartedly, is one specific song by Ryuichi, whatever his name, Sakamoto. He's a composer, but he has this really great song called Undercooled, which is like sort of like a hip hop song with this Korean, like, gives me like New Japanese kind of feels, but then like it's like all about like the deteriorating like Korean government or some shit. But it's like this really, really chill song, and I super, super love it. And yeah, I'm gonna tag that at the very end of this episode. But yeah,
Sounds good.
this has been the Soul Society podcast with John.
Jared.
Aaron.
Daniel.
Yeah! Thank you so much. Catch us next week with Ramune, Whisper of the Heart, and Angie Duran. Thank you so much.